right, and we're back. This is episode 52 of the Taproom Podcast. I'm your host, Mike. It's going to be a quick intro. We got a good one for you, though. I'm over at Noble right now. They got some stuff going on, so there's some noise here. But this episode is with Jimmy from Noble, and Mike from Unsung. Also featuring, so at the end of the episode, it'll be featuring an interview I did with Rick Becerra from Big Ricks BBQ. Phenomenal barbecue. He was a really just awesome dude. We got to have some barbecue with him and have a beer. So it was a really good time. But yeah, so this week I am going to be drinking. So I want to drink one from each brewery. I have the first one from Noble. It's the Tigers Are Awesome. I just, posted a reel on it the other day. If you're not following on Instagram, don't forget to follow at the Taproom Podcast. Let's go ahead and let's jump on in. Oh yeah, oh that's good stuff. It's a Mosaic. I'm sorry, I said a Mosaic. It's a West Coast IPA. Uh, Coming in at 6.5. It's crystal clear. It's honestly like I love it because it's like you get that all those super floral notes right off the bat. They just kind of punch you right in the face, and I love it. And then it just goes down so damn smooth. It's brewed with CTZ, Motueka, and Nelson hops. You get those like Nelson, like the passion fruit notes from the Nelson. Oh man, it's killer. So definitely pick it up. But like I said, tomorrow is the big game or Super Bowl. I'm not monetizing this right now, so it's fine. I can say whatever I want. Well, hopefully that is. But I did want to get into because I did polls all week about food and stuff like that. The first one I did was your favorite Super Bowl snacks. It was between jalapeno poppers, potato skins, pigs in a blanket, and 7-layer dip. Jalapeno poppers coming in for the win at 41% of the vote. Then it came in with a tie with potato skins and 7-layer dip. So there's a ton of people out there that love some 7-layer dip. Then pigs in a blanket coming in at 15%. What else do we have? We also asked what people are picking: Kansas City barbecue or like seafood in San Francisco, like Fisherman's Wharf, all that sort of stuff. Kansas City barbecue won like by a landslide. It was 80% to 20%. So you guys are gonna be hearing some talking in the background here, but yeah, that's what happens when you're at the brewery, baby. Also, we had what's better for what's the better thing to eat for the Super Bowl? We had burgers, hot dogs, chicken, and steaks. Steaks with a whopping 10% of the vote, but burgers, huge. They won big time, 56% of the vote. Hot dogs was 16%, and then chicken was 17%, then hot dogs was 16%. Was kind of shocked by that, but I was like, all right, you to each his own. Also asked about, the great wing debate. Do you want drums, flats, or boneless? Boneless was kind of surprised me. I wasn't expecting them to be at 15%, but drums won out. I'm a flats guy. I mean, I do prefer boneless, but I do love boneless. So drums at 47% of the vote, flats at 38%. What's up, brother? And no, you're good. And that's Cam. Cam's walked in. All right. So then we also asked about what would you rather have, a charcuterie board or like chips and dip / salsa? Chips, dips, and salsa came out big with 67% of the vote. Charcuterie got 33% of the vote. Another poll, sorry if I'm going fast, but another one we had was, are you gambling on the game? And I said, and yes, Super Bowl squares count. 52% of the vote 52% of the vote said they're gambling. I love it. You know me, I'm a gambler. The other question I asked if we had, what are your Super Bowl traditions? Let's see, we had, let me take a look. One of them just said wings and beer. Another one said smoke meat and drink beer. That was Chew Your Beer put smoke meat and drink beer. Beer Passion Photography put wings and beer. Mr. Change, Super Mario, my bud. Cheer for the underdogs and get fucked up. That one made me laugh a little. One was root against the Niners, so Abraham over at La Bodega. Brewski said barbecue ribs all day. Giraffe Kid said beer pong, grilled wings, and lots of dips. Love it. Beer Guy Andy said trying to avoid Super Bowl parties. I was like, all right. This was my absolute favorite answer of all of them, though. From the underscore craft underscore casual said losing my mortgage betting. That was probably my favorite answer. Let's see. Cali Craft Beer Adventure said 100% drinking, and then another one said watching the halftime show because it never. Oh wow, no, this was a good one too. Sorry, watching the halftime show because my team never makes it. All right, so I'm gonna have one more beer, and then we're gonna finish up this intro. But the last thing I asked was who you got in the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, 62% of the votes picked the Niners. I was kind of surprised by that, but is what it is. But I'm going to crack open this next beer, and then you guys get to hear the interviews. This next one is from Unsung. So this one's also brewed with Nelson. It's a West Coast IPA with Nelson Keef and Nelson hops. Let's jump on. This one is coming in at, and I actually believe I drank this one on the show as well. I'm not seeing the percentage. It's got to be here. So 6.7. So we got a 6.5 and a 6.7. Yeah. Some good stuff. Both of these. This one, the same. Like you definitely get those floral notes, but those with that keef, and Mike and I actually talked about it in the interview. What they did with this one. I was just like, man, you guys are like you're a wizard, because it just like it just pops. I mean, it pops big time, and it is clear. I didn't pour this one in a glass, so I apologize for not pouring it in a glass, but gonna try to help the boys out. All right, well, all right, we're gonna jump into the interviews. Stay tuned for next week. It's actually, well, I should have talked about this a little bit more, but this isn't about me. It's about everybody on the show that's been on the show, and and everybody out there working their asses off. But yeah, this is 1 year of the Tap Room podcast. So I appreciate everybody out there. Keep downloading each week. If you got a chance to, click the, follow button on Instagram or Spotify or Apple, whatever you download your stuff on. And if you could leave a rating, like a 5-star rating, that'd be fantastic. I appreciate it. All right, well, stay tuned for the outro. All right, guys. Back in the tap room. I'm your host, Mike, and I've got a couple of guests on the show today. I have Mike from Unsung, Mike Correa, and Jimmy from Noble. First time ever having two brewers from different breweries on the show.
Nice. It's a collab.
Yeah.
It's a collab.
Oh, yeah. And I wanted to do, when I reached out to Mike a few weeks ago, I told him, I was like, man, you were episode 1. Oh, when I changed it from Taps and Tailgates to the Tap Room podcast. So you were episode 1. I was like, I got to have you back for when this comes out. It'll be episode 52. So it'll be 1 year later.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
It's been crazy, man.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. It's been a crazy year, but got to ask, what's it been like for you the last year, Mike?
Pretty much, we're still kind of doing the same thing, trying to make our beer better, taste better. There's a weird thing in brewing where, we're really, really particular about how our beer tastes in the end, but customers really don't like you to change much.
Yeah.
So, you either make, the same beer over and over again and call it something else with some little tweaks and so forth. But, so no, we're just kind of doing that. I was just telling you guys before we started this that Dry January definitely is a thing for us this year.
Yeah.
We didn't really feel it last year. But, the past few weeks have been pretty rough on our distribution. So we're hoping February is a nice big bounce back.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it'll pick back up. I mean, I'm drinking, this is the Nelson?
Nelson Effect, yeah.
Nelson Effect.
West Coast, 100% Nelson, which there's some really cool products out there now that we're able to kind of utilize. I was explaining how we're constantly trying to get way more flavor and hops into a beer, but also on the flip side, you want to get some good yield from it. And, the more hops we add to our beer, the more we lose on the final volume. So
yeah,
this was a good experiment for us, and we like the direction it's going.
Oh, it's delicious. And even after all the drink, there's still head there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's partly the nucleation of our tap room glasses helps out with that too, just to kind of excuse me, keep it looking fresh and inviting.
Oh, for sure.
But
It's great. It's got a great color. It's got a great taste. It's like mouthfeel's great. Like it's delicious.
Thanks, man.
And what's the percentage on this one?
6.7.
Okay, nice.
So I don't know, Jimmy. What do you think about single IPA ABV? So like right around the 7. Will you go higher?
6.5 to 7. Sometimes go higher. No, 7.5, 7.4 for like a single. But like once you get more alcohol, you kind of compete with hop flavor.
Yeah.
Too little alcohol, you don't get enough of that extraction of hops. So we always try to go like what you guys do, 6.5. 6.5 seems like a good number.
Mm-hmm. And you two did a collab, or you guys did a collab, Noble and Unsung. Could you tell us a little about that? How fun was that? I've heard little stories off air from Jimmy, but I mean, it seemed like it was a blast.
It was a blast. It was. I still remember the morning started off amazing. As I showed up way before everybody, and Mike was there. We're talking. All of a sudden, this dog runs in the brewery.
Yeah.
The neighborhood dog, I guess. It just likes to visit every place. And all of a sudden, Mike jumps up, gets his rock salt shotgun, trips over the hosing as he runs to go get it out of the brewery to fucking, because there's like hot caustic everywhere on the floor, and the dog is just running around like it owns the place.
Jimmy saw essentially the 10th time that happened.
Yeah.
And I was like livid at that point because this guy,
Yeah.
I've yelled at him. I said, you got to put your dog on a leash. We have very dangerous chemicals.
Yeah,
we
of
have
course.
hot liquid in here and everything. And this dog is the most brave dog I've ever seen. It just comes in and it just starts going through everything.
Okay.
And it was a point of embarrassment too. And like Jimmy's standing there and I'm like, he's like, what the fuck's this dog doing here?
Yeah.
So I kind of snapped a little bit, but
It happens.
I think I tried to pet it, didn't I?
If-
yeah, he was like, oh, a dog, and I
Yeah.
cocked the shotgun. I didn't shoot it though. I promise. I love dogs. I do.
You're like Arnold in Commando.
Exactly.
Yeah. Was it John Matrix, I think his name was?
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm quoting Commando right now, sorry. It
You
just
like
happens.
Commando, man. That
it's
was
a
like
great
the
movie.
first movie I watched when I was a little kid. It was my favorite action movie.
Oh, yeah. I love when he just has like those two huge guns and he's just one arm in him and just...
He's
you know,
like in the
just-
shopping mall throwing grenades.
Yeah. Breaks that guy's neck on the plane and puts the hat over him.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. That collab was funny because it was one where we knew what style we were gonna do, but we didn't get into the nitty gritty on it. We were just all kind of like, this is like long overdue.
Yeah.
We'd like to get together and do a beer together. And then I kind of just morphed into it that day after we were brewing it. We knew we were going to do a sour. And Jimmy's been doing some really amazing stuff, like with ice cream additions. And
Yeah.
so we kind of tossed that idea around and everything. And then it kind of came down to what we could get that was fresh at the time. And I don't even think we added the vanilla until...
I think you guys did a couple like one-offs with
on
the
it.
vanilla. It was because we're trying to dial in how to use the vanilla.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
But...
at the end of the day, it just tastes like peach pie.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
funny too because so you're trying to think of a beer, and then you're also trying to think of a name, which can be some of the worst conversations you can have possible. And it was a time when Barbie and Oppenheimer came out.
Oh, okay.
So someone said something about what about Peachenheimer, and the label actually.
Oh, the can artwork looked awesome.
Yeah, your guy did great. It's just like these giant peach bombs falling out of the sky, like
Yeah.
Armageddon. So.
Oh man, no, it looked freaking awesome, and like you were saying how Jim, like some of the stuff that Jimmy's doing right now, or Jimmy, Paul, and Cam over there. Like, I gave my brother the Black Sands the other day, right after when I saw you guys last Saturday, and he was just like, man, like, cause he saw the color, he was like, oh no, what is this? And he tried, he was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
you know, he was just like, this is freaking delicious, but like it's just really unique looking, but it was like all the stuff you guys are doing over there is killer right now.
Yeah, it's really innovative because, excuse me, like there's a lot of people in this industry that you can, sit and talk with,
Oh yeah.
ad nauseum. And Jimmy's one of those guys that you can do that with about beer. And he's just a never satisfied type of guy. And so
Yeah.
he's got a breadth of knowledge. He's got a huge, awesome pedigree from where he comes from a brewing perspective. And it's always a joy to talk to him. And you can guarantee you're going to get some quality information when you find out some of the stuff he's doing, and some good funny stories too. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, I think the feeling's mutual. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys have given us so much over the past year in terms of knowledge, like in terms of our IPAs and getting those dialed in, everything.
Well, the cool thing is Jimmy doesn't beat around the bush. He can also tell you, I appreciate the honesty.
Oh, for sure.
And sometimes the bluntness, because I don't know. I think it's almost worse to be condescending than just straight up honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone,
Oh, yeah.
And that's just not who he is. So we like to run a lot of things by him as well.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about, like, especially like when I talk to you guys, because it's never enough. Like, you're striving to make everything better all the time, and I love that. I mean, that's like, I feel like, well, 99% of the brewers I talk to, they don't want to settle for anything. They want to make sure they want it to keep going and keep making the beer better each time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with all the new products coming out, like Mike was talking about earlier, like the game keeps evolving, and if you're not on top of it, you're just kind of 3-4 years down the line, your beer just has no place on the shelf anymore.
Yeah.
It's almost like a stagnant feeling.
Yeah.
I think that's what keeps me up at night. And so like we've had a couple situations where I think we could have went that route and been stagnant. I think definitely the first one was when Hazy's came out.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't for me. I didn't get it.
Yeah, I remember when we talked about it on episode 1, how you were worried a little, not worried, but like you were just talking about how like you're like, man, it wasn't really your style. You wanted to brew the beer that you like, but you were like, oh well, but I know that I have to brew these certain beers for the people that come in for that.
Right, and then it gives you the ability to have the wherewithal to brew the stuff that you do like and
Yeah.
experiment. And so that was one. The other one for me was seltzers when that came out, and it was kind of like, is this really going to be a thing?
Yeah.
And again, it's not for me, but what I learned, especially just from a business standpoint, is, you don't want to be stagnant, but you also want to be able to make the best version of that
Oh, of course.
that you can.
Yeah.
So, and we try to do a little bit of a twist on it. I mean, and Jimmy's actually taken the seltzer game to a totally different realm, which is pretty exciting.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll try and do flavors that you haven't seen yet. So like we've done a limoncello seltzer, the passion tea lemonade seltzer, just trying to get different spin. And now we've come up with this mimosa one that seems to be people really like. I think it's because it's 10% alcohol.
There you go. Yeah, that'll get you there.
But so yeah, again, we make stuff that's not for me. But the challenge is, okay, so I'm not passionate about seltzers, but I'm passionate about this company, and I'm passionate about whatever we put in front of somebody. So
your brand, your product, all that stuff. That's
Limoncello's
awesome.
fire. I found that the other day at freaking out of the Park Pizza.
it was on tap.
It was on tap. I'm like, oh heck yeah, I'm getting this.
Nice.
Wow, out in the wild too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't think we got any of that out there. Okay.
Yeah, and one thing, like speaking of which, like the different styles and stuff like that, are there, any new styles that you guys have been drinking lately that have piqued your interest?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
For us, I got a hold of this. There's a new book out. It's just brewing with
I
dark
need to get
lagers.
that. I definitely need to get that.
And I never geeked out on a book like this in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And it's just an interesting book. The history of dark lagers is really, really interesting to me. I like history about it. But in there's just they got a like a Negro Modelo clone.
Okay.
Which is what we have on tap called El Capitan.
Nice.
The Tmave, which is basically it's like a Czech Dunkel, which is what Jimmy's trying a little bit. We did a collab with 10 Mile on that one. Our red lager. I forgot that was up there. I really, really liked how that turned out. It's an Italian red lager.
Ooh, I'll have to try that one.
That recipe was in there. So just some really, really cool stuff that we've never really dipped our toe in. And so having the 3-barrel system here helps us out with that, where we can make a clunker on a 3-barrel and just gather a tremendous amount of information and then dump it. But these have been pretty solid recipes, and we were excited with that. That makes me excited, the dark lager game, I guess.
Oh, that's awesome. Because even I feel like black IPAs too are kind of starting to make their way back. Because I feel like a couple of years ago they were popular, but now I had one at Long Beach Beer Lab, but I was like, holy shit, this is delicious. But like even like reds too, like you're saying, you don't see a ton of reds on menus, and you don't on the menu board or anything like that or on tap. But yeah, black IPAs or dark lagers, like you're saying, all that stuff I feel like is kind of making its way back.
It's nice to see, but the other thing, I was talking to one of the bartenders over at Windsor yesterday, and he said that he's noticed a shift in hazy or amount of people asking for hazies.
The bubble, yeah.
It's
the bubble
actually
kind of burst a little.
Yeah, so they're taking one of their hazy lines off and adding like a fourth West Coast handle,
Yes.
which I didn't think that would ever happen. I kind of hoped that would at some point. Not just because the beer's a pain in the ass to make, but I think that we're at a point now where a lot of them are tasting similar.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to distinguish.
Dude, there's nothing distinct about them anymore. Even ours, like I taste ours and I taste other people's, and they're just kind of, they're not what they used to be anymore. Simply because.
Yeah. Oh no, I was gonna say, but your Creature for the Merc Lagoon was
Nelson,
phenomenal.
right? Nelson?
No, I did Incognito cold side.
Duh, it was.
Yeah, I've been doing that for a minute. Like that's
I think-
Big Wig is
yeah.
really, really good now, but it's all Incognito cold side.
Yeah.
I literally put it in a hot lick bucket and just dump it in.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody laughs at me.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? I had Ron there laughing at me, and then he tried, and he's like, wow, that's pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah, but that Creature for the Merc Lagoon was absolute fire. My buddy, like,
Thank you.
you know, took like 2 of my 4-packs of it because he loved it. So
That was right around our anniversary, I think, right? August?
Yeah.
Or November?
It was, yeah. No, it was like right October, November sometime, because I remember then we put out the tea seltzers, and they're all 10%. I just remember we don't remember much. November, December.
So they basically at the Brewers Mash festival this year essentially owned it. I mean, the stuff they came with was fire.
oh yeah,
Everything I had there was excellent, and I was like, "So you guys gonna be like a tiki brewery now or something?" He's like, "Oh, we're everything. We're doing it all." It's like,
Doing it all. Doing it all.
no, and I've told Jimmy I don't know how many times when I've had him on like the What's New at Noble segments and stuff like that, and when we talk, it's always just like things just keep like going and going and going. And people can't see this because it's an audio medium, but my hand is going up and up and up because of like what you guys are doing. So over at Noble.
I mean, there was a lot. We start from a really, really bad spot, so it's not that hard to make. As much we've done an amazing job, I feel like our team, but like these guys too. Like I think hand in hand, us and Unsung have they've been there to support us as these last 2 years.
Yeah.
Like without them, I don't think it would be even close to where we are. Like our IPA game is probably all credited to them.
That's awesome. Thank you for saying that.
No,
yeah. It's we never really had much of a connection to Noble, and once we met Jimmy and the team over there, and so some of the things that they do is brewing is hard.
Yeah, of course.
But some of the things that they have to actually like grind through over there as well can be extra challenging. But I don't see Jimmy doing anything any other way.
Yeah.
If it was easy, I think Jimmy would say, "Fuck this."
I'd be bored.
Oh yeah, I can. Well, I mean, now that I've known Jimmy for almost a year, I'm like, yeah, I could totally see. I can see what you're saying.
Yeah. So, but I think so. Jimmy, I met you at
Native Son.
Native Son.
Yeah.
We were doing the Thirsty Thursday thing.
Oh, nice.
Which we're doing again this year. The next thing I knew, I think my wife got really pissed at me that night because I met Jimmy and I remember sitting down next to him or whatever, and like it felt like an hour and a half later or something, and I had like all these text messages. I was supposed to meet my wife for dinner or something.
shit.
But I just kind of got lost in the conversation with Jimmy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, what are you doing with this? And what are you doing with this?" And like, so when you meet someone you can just speak the same language to, and you can see that they're in it for the same reasons that you are. That's a rarity, I feel, sometimes these days.
Yeah, it is. Not so much openness. We're really open with each other when we talk. I feel like people are always trying to keep secrets and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like we talked about this. I was talking this to my team yesterday. Like, I find it odd. There's a lot of brewers out there that aren't brewers, or they're not brewing anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was like the pinnacle, or if that, to me, that never was the end game. Like, I still brew. I still like to get up early in the morning and mash in. There's nothing more peaceful to me than an empty brewery and the sound of mashing in. And so,
Empty brewery, just you, right?
Right.
That's my favorite.
Yes.
No one else there. No one else there.
Yes. And you can hear all the little intricate sounds and stuff, and you can hear when something's not right. But for some reason nowadays, it's like people have done this grind for a long time, and then I guess the pinnacle is to not brew and just be, more a person in charge and everything. I think that's cool, but like for me, the fun is still getting your hands wet and still being a part of it.
Of course.
And I understand the larger a company gets, the less I'm going to be there, which I've, I have a feeling the more things are going to happen, whether good or bad, without some like good oversight. But I see that more and more now today, and I just am always like, don't you miss it? Like, you know, and so I feel like Jimmy's one of those guys too, where I couldn't see Jimmy in a position where he's sitting at a desk and looking at people's, you know, brew logs and checking everything and stuff. So
Yeah.
That is my goal, by the way. To not do anything.
It
Just
is.
collect a check.
There you go.
That's all it is.
No, but like I know, just being able to sit here with you guys and even just like, I wish I would have had like almost like B-roll audio of just you guys talking earlier, because I was like, I was just like, you know, I love to just hear that. Like, I mean, to me, that, you know, hearing you guys talk about all the different things that you guys are doing, it's awesome to me, and I'm just super grateful that I get to even just sit here and talk with you guys. So.
It's a small community. It's cool. It's a cool community, and it's like anything else where I hate using the word incestual, but everyone knows everybody, and everyone's worked kind of at every place or has some tie-in. And I was talking to our assistant brewer yesterday. I went and got a beer after we had an awesome day at work yesterday. We got in early. We brewed. We fruited a sour. We cleaned up a beer, and we got another beer ready for canning, and we were done by 2:00. And I'm like,
nice.
Fuck, let's go get a beer.
There you go.
And I was just talking to her. I was just like, how did you get in the industry? And
Is that Bridget?
yeah, she bench. Yes,
Yeah.
you know Bridget.
Yeah, I know Bridget.
I go, how do you know Mike? She goes, oh, just social media. I have this handle, and I think we reached out to each other and we're chatting, and so that's what she was telling me. That's how she got into it, by the community portion of it, and then started working at a couple different tap rooms. And
Yeah, she was over at Burning Bridge for, I don't know if she still is. So I'm sorry to Burning Bridge if she's still there. I don't know if she's still there or not. So.
yeah, excuse me. For the time being, yeah, she is, but she's working like 2-3 jobs, and she's like, I need to cut down a little, I think, but she's doing a hell of a job for us. But yeah, so
That's awesome.
I was shocked to hear that she knew you, and I was like, so how do you know all these people?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like a hermit sometimes, but yeah, so it's just a small, nice community, but there's always like these little interwoven threads of people that connect to all these different places. So.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and that's one of the things I love about, you know, the craft beer community is like, I always say like probably, because somebody asked me a question, because tomorrow I'm releasing episode 50, but it's people ask me like, oh, how receptive are breweries when you message or when you DM them and stuff like that. It was like honestly like 70-80% of the time they get back to me right away. And I feel like, you know, being able to, you know, being willing to be open to stuff like that, because I'm never going to go there trash a brewery. I'm going to go there and try your beer, and I want to see what it's like and hear your story, because everybody's story is different. Like you're saying with Bridget, being at different breweries and doing different things. I think she was at Upshift before that.
Yeah.
And now she's over here, and she seemed, when I was talking to her yesterday, because she's like, oh, you're doing Unsung again. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna record with Mike. And I told her, I was like, yeah, but I was like, well, I was like, love Mike. I was like, Jimmy's gonna be there too. It's gonna be wild. But, I mean, she's a sweetheart. She's really nice.
Yeah, and she worked with Steven Torres, who's another genuine guy in the industry.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got a chance to talk to him or meet him.
I don't think so, no.
I mean, just he's got a wealth of knowledge too from brewing. Been with Victor Novak, or was with Victor for a long time with taps. And so he called me and said, hey, Bridget's looking for some additional work and everything. And he's like, I'd never do this, but with this person I would.
That's awesome.
So she came highly associated for the position, and she's been great. So
that's awesome, man. I did want to ask, because we talked about like brew days and stuff like that a little, but what's your worst brew day you guys have ever been through?
I mean, you good?
I've had too many in Noble. Like way too many. I'm trying to think. I know my first one wasn't me. My first one was at Noble. I'm not going to say who it was. I was supposed to be taught how to learn the system that day, and typically a brew day, on a good day, will take like 6 to 8 hours. Say we're doing a smaller batch, just a really small batch. And 12 hours later, and like 12 Advils later. We finally finished, and I'm still not sure what happened that day. It was like 15 stuck mashes, like no joke.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
It was a
Shit.
10-barrel batch that took 3.5 hours to water.
Oh no.
It was like, oh my gosh. And that was the start of this whole thing. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And we work on, like, you both seen our system. We work on a very, very complex system, way too complex for our size, unquestionably. And there's not a lot of knowledge about, like, a 4-vessel, at least on, in the U.S., or if you're not a big boy. Like, so, like, trying to figure this, seeing this thing, seeing it go down this first day, and realizing what I needed to do for the rest of the time I was there, it's taken, what, a year and a half now to finally get that thing working. And it still is not fantastic.
Yeah.
We still have days where it gets stuck and I'm not there and someone's screaming at me for not being there.
No.
So, just about every day at Noble's a bad brew day.
Yeah. How about you, Mike?
Mine's not as funny. I mean, I'll try and make it funny, but
Oh, it's all good.
it was during COVID, and I'll never forget, we had just mashed in. It was like 7 a.m. And we got word from our landlord here in Anaheim that there was going to be a big George Floyd protest downtown.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
yeah.
I remember you telling me about it.
So they said there's 30 boards of plywood up against your brewery wall. Come in here and lock it up at the best you can. And so I called everybody from the tap room. We literally left the beer in the mash. I think with the rakes were still going.
Oh, wow.
And just ran up here and just put up all these plywood boards all over anything that was glass and everything. And,
Yeah.
And it was a crowd was starting to kind of collect on Anaheim Boulevard and everything, and I was getting really, really nervous. And so then after we were done, it was like 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night, and it was like, all right, now get out of here, and hopefully tomorrow
Yeah.
The
nothing
building's still
happened.
standing?
Yeah, and I'll never forget, across the street is this condo, and someone on the corner was nice enough to put our building on a live feed on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And so I remember sitting at home on my phone looking at this shitty live feed, and there was like 8 Huntington Beach cop cars that kind of surrounded our building. Nothing happened. It was, just for extra protection. The entire event was peaceful, but then coming in the next morning to your batch that is now
Were the rakes
fermented
still spinning?
Yeah, I think so. And you just felt defeated because you woke up
Yeah.
trying to accomplish something and then
Of
just
course.
had to zig. That was a pretty shitty day.
That was
so.
way better than my story.
Yeah, but it's just not a fun one.
Oh, man. I remember, wasn't the one time, didn't you tell me that it was like a car that kind of came up there? I remember you telling me, I think that was just one of the stories you told me that when on episode 1.
It was this same setup, but over here to the right. I know you guys
Yeah.
can't see where I'm pointing.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was not during opening, or if someone was sitting there, they definitely would have died.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, imagine coming into work and just seeing like a
Car,
Yeah.
yeah, in your brewery. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine what that was like for you, especially being a business owner. You're walking in, you're like thinking it's just a regular day, and then bam.
Yeah. The other typical shitty brew days is like Jimmy was saying, it was stuck mashes and you've had it, you've taken as much volume as you're going to, and then you open up the mash door and just soup is just pouring
waiting for
out
you.
nonstop. And it's one of the worst things to clean up. It's sticky, it's slippery, and
Yeah.
it's basically like pure snot coming out.
No, yeah.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a great description. Can I have that? Oh, can I try
Yeah.
that one? So there's one more left. I'm gonna give her a whirl here, Utmost Piddlemost. Love it. 10 Mile. I've been seeing a lot of their stuff lately.
Yeah, Dan and Jesse are amazing. They've done some amazing work.
And where are they at? Because I mean, other than I've only ever seen their stuff in collab, so I wasn't sure where they're located.
They're I think it's
Signal.
Signal Hill, yeah. Signal Hill.
Oh, wow, they're not far. I might have to hit them up.
Yeah.
And then they got a what is they're in one of those steel crafts.
Steel Crafts, I think they just
Oh,
opened
there's
Ladera Ranch.
Ladera
spot,
Ranch,
too,
yeah.
Yeah, there's a Steelcraft right by my house in Bellflower, or right by my apartment.
I think it's that one.
Oh, is it that
It
one?
might be that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's on like Bellflower Boulevard, probably.
Isn't that it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What's interesting about them is they have a beer called it's a style's a Kentucky Common.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm from Ohio. I
Yeah.
went to school at University of Cincinnati, which is really close to Kentucky, and that's a big beer down in that area.
Yeah.
And so to come out here and see somebody, making a beer and they're known for it, so it's got a lot of really positive reputation.
Yeah.
And so I got to ask him about it and everything. He's like, yeah, me and my dad, we kind of got caught on this style, and we were home brewing, and they were winning stuff for that.
That's awesome.
So yeah, if you do get a chance, try the Kentucky Common.
I'm down. Yeah, I'm always up for trying all the different stuff.
Yeah, they're a fascinating father-son duo.
Oh, that's cool. So it's father son. That's awesome.
Yeah.
They have some funny stories too.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
His father, they told me his father has this uncanny ability to like touch things that he's not supposed to, and so like
Yeah.
he's opened up manways and opened things up, and beers he's just got all these funny stories about that, and he's always like, Dad, please don't touch anything.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. When it comes to just like you see that father son relationship, but when I'm talking about like you two's friendship, like Jimmy and Mike, because I remember when me and Jimmy were at Asylum, and that's when you told me like, hey, can we get Jimmy on the episode? I was like, yeah, I'll talk to him, and then me and Jimmy went to Asylum with I'm gonna call him Thomas. Sorry, Tommy.
Thomas. Who's Thomas?
Yeah, but we were talking over there, and I was like, well, I'm gonna send Mike a picture of us. So we took that selfie and we sent it over to Mike. He's like, I love that man. So like, you guys have obviously a really kick-ass kind of cool friendship. But like, what makes you guys similar, and what makes you guys different when it comes to the brewing side?
That's a good question. Similar? I think we're really similar in a lot of aspects. We're always trading ideas.
Yeah.
Different? I don't know.
I think different, at least for me, is Jimmy has a very, very, very good technical intelligence on the brewing. So
Okay.
where I lack on in my field, it would probably be more on the technical side of things. Jimmy, they had to do a lot of different things at Ballast Point. They were making, large batches. And so Jimmy has a wealth of knowledge from, whether it's a certain enzyme or, this is what we used to do when we ran into that situation. So I think that's where you like?
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. That's why I was pointing at it and giving you the thumbs up.
So there'll be conversations where I'll say, oh, fuck, Jimmy, I'm having this issue or whatever. And Jimmy will say, oh, would you try this? And I'm like, what? So that's where
Yeah.
I actually get a lot of, good feedback on how to do things from Jimmy's standpoint. But we're very much alike in terms of what we like to drink and what flavor profile we're trying to put out there. We like our IPAs dry. We like fruited
Same.
stuff to be overly fruited.
Yep.
Ultimately taste good no matter what is put in front of you. I mean, for me, one of the best compliments is when somebody who says they don't like beer or they hate IPAs
Yep.
or whatever, but they can taste the beer and go, you know what? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty hard to do when someone's already got this preconceived notion in their head of what they're about to taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, their mind's made up before they even come in. But the one thing I love about that is like when you can have, like you can bring them in for like a hazy, or you bring them in for a seltzer, and you can recommend something to them, and it's almost like their gateway drug into into like craft beer, which is something I love. But what were you gonna say, Jimmy?
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say I have a funny story with Jimmy where I don't know. I think you came by to pick up some hops or something, and he brought Cam. I think Cam and maybe it was just Cam, somebody else from the team at Noble, and you made a comment that I thought was funny because I didn't. It's never been anticipated like this, but something happened where I either said a word or I gave Taryn, our head brewer, a look or something, and then like he just went and did. Like I didn't have to tell him to do something, and he just like saw my face and did something. And Jimmy was like, You guys see how that worked?
Oh, thank you. That was the only thing I was thinking about differently. I'm like, he runs his team so well that when we're over there, they are doing things like they're working together. Like it's such a great like workplace to watch them work. 'Cause someone's helping someone do something without them being asked, and everybody knows what they need to get done. And I know it's not always like that.
Oh.
A lot of times in my workplace, nobody does anything until I tell them.
Yeah.
They just sit there and just kind of like, well, just be more proactive.
I laugh because that's not how I view it. I kind of view it the way he said it, and so I guess I felt a little bit proud of the fact that like maybe I don't know maybe maybe they've seen me get upset so many times that I don't know.
But I was, you know what I was gonna almost equate it to, because you're a Bengals fan, right?
Browns.
Browns. Okay, yeah, I knew it was Ohio. I couldn't remember
worse.
which team it was, but I mean, then this analogy probably won't work as well. It's almost like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. They played together in college. They play together in the pros. They make one look, and they look at each other one way. They're like they know what they're thinking.
Yeah, the familiarity.
Yeah.
And so Taryn's been with us for 7 years.
Yeah.
You know, started off in the tap room and worked his way up and was. Did I say this in your podcast? No, I said it in a different podcast. But I was trying to speak to the younger generation out there. Someone asked me a question in terms of, you know, if you're passionate about a job or an industry, like what's the best way to get ahead? And I said the best thing is to be invaluable.
Yeah.
And Taryn has been invaluable to us in the sense of like his attitude has always been like, I'm here for whatever Unsung needs.
Yeah.
And so because of that, there's many reasons this is the wrong thing to do, but there's also a few that's the right thing to do. Kind of like Jimmy, like we have a small team. And so that's purposeful because I don't have to go to 7 different people and go, all right, who touched this valve? Who did this? Like, it's pretty simple who did what. You can figure it out. And so communication is important, but honestly, the less communication that we can do, the more we're actually physically doing things. And so by having a small, tight crew like that, I feel like there's a lot more control, but then there's also just like a giant, shortening of that learning curve for some people. So, and I like it that way. I like to be friendly with our employees. I don't want them to be just a shift brewer or a shift cellarman in that. The goal is, and the happy thing for me is to see someone that's doing cellarman work, and then whether it's at Unsung or somewhere else, but they progress and they get to a point that they want to get to, and to help them with that, I think is really, really fun. That's the fun part of the job that you don't really get to see a lot.
Oh, definitely. And one thing, like I had an old because when I still work in insurance, and this is just my fun stuff and my therapy, but I had a supervisor one time tell me, like, when you mentioned being invaluable, he told me once, the more you know, or in this industry, the more you know, the more you're worth. You have to absorb all that as you're making your way up, because then you make yourself invaluable. Like, oh, if you need to ask somebody, ask this person or ask that person.
So
because
that brings up a good question, Jimmy. What was your first job in the industry?
Ballast point, running ballast point.
How did you get that job?
I homebrewed for like 4 or 5 months. Figured out I was pretty good at it, and got a bar back job, Ballast Point.
Okay, so
first thing I did is give Klein Chris Klein one of my beers, and he said, "Listen, I'm probably gonna come back and say it's horrible." And he came back and said, "Hey, you want to help me out in the brew?"
Wow, that's very rare.
Yeah, it was really lucky. Yeah.
And so you had to take a pay cut. You had to do remedial type stuff and start from the bottom, right?
Yeah, I was picking up little kids' food from the table. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But like the brewing aspect of it, once I was in. I didn't have to sell her. I start to finish.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got lucky.
So the point I was trying to make was, at some point, at least with this industry, there's a sacrificial period that you have to do, whether it's working for free or
paying your dues.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that because it sounds bad, but like I was telling our assistant brewer yesterday, like when I was working at Tustin, like I said to myself, if at any point I come home and it's like, fuck this place, fuck this job, I fucking clean kegs all day, I fucking sick and tired of lifting bags of grain, this thing. I said, if any time I come home and I say that, then I'll just know it wasn't for me. And that never happened to me. I came home super, super pumped and excited. You felt like you accomplished something. Yeah. You felt like you were part of something and you helped the process. And so that's when I knew it was for me. But again, working for free, there's that sacrificial period where you're trying to, because the knowledge I was learning over at Tustin was, there wasn't a dollar amount to put on it.
Yeah.
It was so valuable, and you learn what you want to do and what you don't want to do too.
Yeah, I mean, how much of that was like them teaching you, as opposed to you just like absorbing everything was going around you? You're learning.
Pure sponge.
Yeah.
Pure sponge.
I feel like that's something nowadays that I just don't see very much anymore.
Yeah.
Like I find that back when I started, I was willing to do everything. Clean corners of every room just to make it clean. It was just like it was helping in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like we're going through a period now where nobody wants to do that. They just want to.
No.
I don't know if it's
they
the
want something
notoriety
handed
they
to them.
want, or it's just not quite as passionate as it used to be. From the ground level up.
I agree. And you had a really good mentor, probably one of the better ones that you can have in terms of teaching you the process and actually he seemed like he was a very patient person too, which is somewhat rare in our industry too. It's almost like the Gordon Ramsay, like, way of training,
yeah.
in a sense sometimes, and it's calmed down a lot since then. But Chris Klein has been a valuable,
unbelievably valuable to me. Like
Yeah.
the things he taught me, like I didn't deserve that job at all. And the people I was introduced to too, like Victor Novak was because we were Ballast Point, so we were not part of the guild or anything, or not craft. So Golden Row was there, and we got to hang out with Victor and Steve. We're amazing people, like some of the best brewers around. The people I got introduced to from him, because one of his things was at Ballast Point is he used to be like the traveling brewer. He go to all the festivals around the country, around the world, so he knew everyone. And the first couple months I was on the job, it was more about meeting everybody in the community than it was about dialing in the brewing.
Yeah.
So I just got the full spectrum of how to be a brewer, not just technical standpoint or the creative standpoint, but also the networking standpoint. Which I think is the most important thing.
Yeah.
If you don't have anybody to talk to about ideas, to find new ideas, because the industry is moving so fast, because it's so immature, you're gonna get left behind really fast.
Think about it. If you don't have an outlet, if I don't have an outlet like a Jimmy or my other friend Gavin or something like that, it could take me 5, 6, 7 batches.
Yeah.
Where I could shorten that a little bit, and I think that's some of the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah,
getting
exactly.
ahead.
Yeah.
And so but again, everybody's different. If Jimmy came and brewed on our system and tried to brew his beers at our system, they would be a different beer. So
it's a learning curve.
You got to take the system into account too. But that is a fascinating portion. I didn't get the networking thing when I first started.
Yeah.
I didn't. We were really focused on inside our building and inside our brewery, and not so much of getting out and meeting people. And I think that was a big negative thing that we, if I could go back, I wish we were a little bit more active in the community. But you can never say never, so we're still kind of changing the way we do things a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, you're also dealing with some people in this industry that have been brewing for 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, that's a remarkable, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get to that point before I get out.
I know, man. That's, yeah.
But that is, it's intimidating sometimes, and so. But for the most part, everyone's kind of in the same boat. We're trying to make beer, we're trying to sell beer, we're trying to preserve beer, we're trying to package it properly, and those are challenges every day. My biggest problem with the industry, Jimmy, is I call it the mode of insanity, where our West Coast IPA Metaplex, we've made that over 60, 70 times probably, and you would think it's the same thing every time you brew it, and it's not. There's always one thing that's different.
Yeah, you can find those subtle nuances or stuff like that.
Or one thing that happens that starts to domino effect the rest of the beer and everything. To me, that's a frustrating thing about the industry, where I'm constantly trying for consistency.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, your grain was, there was a cold front last night, now it's 4 degrees, and so now you have to readjust your mash temps and everything. And there's little things like that can be frustrating. Then you can do that, and then you go, oh shit, the beer actually tastes better. but I don't know why.
Yeah.
I can't give you the reason.
So you got to get that grain back to that temperature for the next brew.
Something. Yeah.
Well, I'll just follow up on that. The hops, I mean, are never the same. That's the biggest thing. Consistency is you just don't, unless you have a hop lot that you know and you have it for the whole year, you never know what you're going to get from that type of hop when you get it.
That's the worst.
That is the worst. You can't be consistent.
For sure, and like obviously you can't control the weather, and you can't control the temperature, and you can't control any of that. So I mean, maybe one year, one summer, or one fall or winter, like whenever anything's growing, you get those different things, and you're like, wait a second, why does it taste a little different? It's like you said, just making those adjustments, trying to get it back to what it was.
Yeah, and to piggyback on Jimmy, like what he said, you get a box of hops and it smells like shit, or it's mosaic hops and it's actually cheese or whatever. That box wasn't $200 cheaper. It's still
it's still the same thing,
$13 a pound, $12 a pound.
Yeah.
That's the frustrating thing. And so, we're going to actually go and hand select ours this year, so that we can at least try and get a little bit more consistency.
Yeah.
Some of the hard things too is like we're getting some really good hops out of freestyle, but I can't just jump on a plane and go to New Zealand for hop selection, And there's breweries that do that.
Yeah.
But they definitely are getting an upper hand in terms of what type of, they give you a spectrum for Nelson. They're like, do you want it to be more winey champagne or Chardonnay, or do you want it to be more, fruit forward, or do you want it in the middle of that?
Yeah.
Or Columbus is another one. Like I want it as stinky, as oniony as can possibly.
You want that
be.
armpit foot flavor.
Yeah. But we'll get a box, and I'm like, well, I can't put Columbus on the can. This doesn't taste like Columbus,
Yeah.
So that is a big issue.
Yeah. Bringing up New Zealand, because lately anything New Zealand, like whether it's like a New Zealand style Pilsner or like anything with like I love Rawaka, but I mean like any type of New Zealand anything, just take my money. Most of the time it's really good.
Yeah.
There's not going to mention the brewery or anything, but there's other breweries where I've tried some of their New Zealand stuff, and I'm like, this isn't like it's okay, it's nothing bad. But
You tell us off the air.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you.
Of course, yeah. We'll talk shit all night long.
Oh yeah. Jimmy and I have done that a few times.
Why you gotta make me look bad, man?
Oh, sorry, brother.
No, I think to just push it one more level about what Mike was talking about earlier, but to tag on to what we were just talking about is now that we have all these hop products coming out, which actually do give us the chance for consistency, now we're seeing everything kind of taste the same in a sense, to where it's like it's good, it's better than it's ever been, but like across the board, unless you're like one of those outliers like North Park, like I'm seeing like tasting ours, tasting theirs, tasting Green Cheek, like everything's real similar now, to the point where we were talking about earlier, the hazy's kind of falling off for the first time. I think that's part of the reason why is finally we have hit that mark where everything is kind of similar because everybody's throwing the same products in there.
Oh yeah.
Where I noticed that mostly was if you look at the past 6 months of the beers that we've made, West Coast and hazy, there's not one that doesn't have Nelson in it, or Citra, or Mosaic. And so it got to the point now where if your hoppy beers are coming out, they better have one of the top three in there.
Yeah.
And so for us, our stuff started to taste similar. We tried to strive for more on the danky side.
Oh yeah.
Of some of our beers, and the opportunities to make them that flavor are really narrow in terms of which hops you can use. And then of course there's the word game too, right? And so Citra, like Nelson, Galaxy. I mean, Galaxy's not so much anymore, but we just start seeing the same hop blends. And when I got in the industry, one of the cool things for me from a flavor or creative standpoint was, if you're using 4 or 5 different hops, Beechwood is tops at doing this, but they're creating flavor profiles by just using percentages of this hop, this hop, this hop, this hop. Sometimes they'll have, I think Amalgamator is 5, 6 different hops, something like that. And that's a perfect example of that, where you're creating a totally different flavor by using these different percentages of hops and everything. And so where we got stuck, and it's good for business, but Citra, Nelson, Mosaic, Citra, Nelson, Mosaic, Nelson, Citra, Citra, Nelson, And I think Jimmy was the one that told us this when we started using the Incognito product. And Jimmy was very, very nice about how our West Coast were tasting. But then he started to say, Mike, you know what? I'm starting to get a similar flavor when I pop open one of your West Coast cans and everything. And he's right, because we're utilizing the same big name hops and everything. They're
Yeah.
great hops.
Yeah.
They're wonderful, but we're kind of reprinting the same beer over and over again.
But it's like it's what works. It's the same way for us. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
do you want
It's
to
what
go
sells, yeah.
outside and try to get a new hop you're not sure of, and can you get that hop again afterwards, and maybe get a one-off?
How many times have you had a new hop and you were like, I don't want to say burned, but you're just like, there was a lot of hype behind this hop and everything, and then you just used it and you're just like, I don't.
Too many times.
I
More
don't get
often than
it.
not. More
Yeah.
often than not. Usually, it's some of the freestyle is amazing in the sense that so a lot of us use freestyle the company that for the hops. One, because it's all New Zealand. Two, because a lot of the hops, like the bigger ones, you can actually choose what you want from that hop. There's like 3 different types of Nelson you can choose from. They all have different distinct flavor profiles. Just like you was saying, like, do you want the white wine or do you want the passion fruit flavor, something in between? And literally, you can just go online and or you can choose like your version of Nelson from their website, which is
Yeah.
probably the coolest thing I've seen. And it's starting to become more of a thing for isn't it like cryos like that too now?
Yeah.
You can choose your lot.
What's cool about that too is it's all based on when they pick the Nelson.
Yeah.
So if it's an early pick or a late pick,
Yeah.
it's going to kind of decide that. Which I'm like, okay, these guys are doing it kind of the right way and everything, and they're not just like these giant acre lots that they're trying to create. But yeah, so I totally agree with you. I think hops are one of the bigger challenges for us, and I'm still under contract, and I'm still using 2022 hops and trying to plow through those and everything. COVID kind of screwed a lot of that up, where the hop contract was like, oh, we still want your money, but we'll just push it forward. So I think my contract was supposed to end like 3 years ago, and they've just kept moving it forward by spreading out the volume.
Okay.
But the price is still the same. And I'm
No,
like,
that's not bad.
well, wait a minute. If I can get, again, let's say it's a quality mosaic hop or something, but if I can get it at $10 a pop and my contract's at 14, so I wish that the market was a little bit more actual to what's currently going on in the hop industry. But
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was gonna ask you. I lost my train of thought for a second, but I was like, I was gonna ask you guys, where do you guys see everything going? Because obviously, I know this is like the first year where, kind of like, there's been that slow and opening the market, the craft beer market, kind of like when it comes to opening breweries. Where do you guys see everything going?
I don't know. This is probably the bad prediction, or not going to be right. I'm really bad at this, but I think that the fear of more people not drinking is something we have to take into account. Like Jimmy was talking about, making non-alcoholic stuff.
Yeah.
We haven't dabbled in that realm for a while. The having a gluten-free option is kind of a must. I don't know. What I predicted didn't happen during COVID. I thought after COVID, you would see a lot more breweries closing down.
Yeah.
And less growth. But you're actually seeing a decent amount of new breweries popping up. Mm-hmm. Now they're carbon copied, right? They're buying a brewery that failed and starting to rebrand it and everything like that. And so I thought that it would kind of weed things out a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's actually been the adverse, because the amount of beer that we're distributing to, we used to sell 4 or 5 cases to one place. Now they're taking 1 or 2 cases.
Yeah.
So the demand is a little bit lower, and the competition is just as fierce.
Yeah, of course.
So, but I think that we're going to have a non-alcoholic option at some point. I mean, I don't understand that.
Yeah. But it's just like the bubbles. Like, I feel like they come and they go.
Yeah, everything's cyclical. Everything's cyclical.
Yeah, there's like there's an ebb and flow throughout it. I feel like every industry, but I feel like, especially like in craft beer, like we talked about earlier, how hazy's got so big. But I mean, even recently, I feel like pilsners and lagers have really come back, and West Coast too, for that matter. Like you were saying earlier, like I feel like they've kind of, where hazy's kind of, well, at least for me, like leveled out, and then you saw like pilsners, lagers, kind of coming back to the forefront.
I don't know. I don't think you're completely wrong about your prediction. I think that a lot of things have failed. A lot of breweries. I just didn't see what, in the same vein, that so many people replace them immediately. Like, there's always seems to be some new brewery opening up now, and I don't know. It's just because where we're located and just the quality of the breweries around us. because that has been something that's kind of like, I feel like out of the pandemic, all of a sudden, even though Orange County was good, it was not San Diego, not even close to San Diego. Now I feel like some of the things we have popping up now and some of the breweries that are already around and how they've evolved, like here, like Green Cheek, obviously, like everywhere popped up, like all these amazing breweries surrounding us. Brewery X out in their stuff, like Ism coming out, like, and it's just the quality is beyond it. It's anywhere it's ever been for our area at least. Like, and now it's the new ones that are opening up are even okay, but like now we're not seeing those basically homebrew breweries so much anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're seeing lineage from different other big breweries.
Yeah.
The thing for me though that's a little bit hard to understand is like I tell people this all the time, like today I don't think I would open up a brewery, like, and the only reason I say that is because I can't see a brewery that's going to open up and you can definitively say like what distinguishes you from the others. Like you're gonna have to make good beer. That's like one of those things that's given. Like beer's got to be good, obviously. But then like, what's your niche? And I think when we opened up, like it was still, I'm like dating myself, but it was still the times of this has to have 100 IBUs, and we want this sour to be so fucking sour that you puckered your face and everything and stuff. And so we tried to like tame those things a little bit, make IPAs that weren't overtly bitter but were more hop forward. And so like I feel like we tried to, there was a place for that then, but now I don't know what is that niche. Lager breweries have tried to succeed, and there's very, very few in the country that are actually doing it well.
And Niggard's is the only one I can think of nearby us that's really just killed it.
Yeah.
That's the only one.
And, that and then, there's been sour breweries that opened up that can't survive. I remember Council down in San Diego used to be one of the best sour breweries, and it was before the kettle sour craze or the fake sour craze, and they were doing everything real. And then people started making sours overnight and not having to wait, months and months for it to come on. It's like, I don't know what that niche is. Is it the slushy market? Is it, just seltzers? I don't know.
I just feel like everything's becoming more specific. The niches are smaller. People are trying to compete for that. Like, I mean, we went to the Tiki Seltzer game simply because it didn't exist. So, and there's no one else doing those smoothie seltzers that don't taste like candles except for maybe Spanish Marie back in Florida, which is the inspiration for us. But even that is like, we purposely compartmentalized this within Tiki just to take up that area to make sure that nobody could take it over before we already had it. Because if we tried to go bigger and just go like Spanish Marie does, like smoothie seltzers, then there'd be a competition for days and days and days. Like, it's just a matter of establishing yourself in a certain market. But the niches are so small now. There's no more like flagships anymore. Like, those have died. It's no longer like you're a brewery that does like just one thing good, have one good beer. Now it's like all your beers have to be good. And I mean, it's just harder and harder and harder and harder, it seems, going forward. I mean, it's more fun too. You evolve, and anybody gets in the game. I mean, it's a hard game to get into right now, like you're saying. It's just, how can you be good from the start? Usually it takes, just to get the system right, a year.
Oh, easy, for sure.
A year to get the system dialed in, and then to find your flavors a year after that. And by that time, you're just like, I mean, you're hard off probably, just trying to finally get something that, piques people's interest.
Oh, no doubt.
Jimmy, are you amazed at, this is one thing, I asked this question because it amazes me, but I'm always amazed at what beers do you have to have on tap? In other words, if you get to a weekend and these styles aren't there, you're in big fucking trouble. Or,
Well, I mean, we still kind of try to run the flagship model, but there needs to be a West Coast IPA, bigwig. There needs to be Watch Me Whip, our Pineapple Dole Whip seltzer needs to be on tap. We always have to have a good lager. Basically a little bit of everything. So I'm thinking there's a fourth one too. We always have a hazy on. And we know that there's certain beers that if we don't have, people are going to ask for them. They're not going to be in, and they're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And you don't know if you're going to lose a customer after that, because you don't know if they're, if it's a person there the first time and they come in and they don't get what they expected to get, they're going to be unhappy. And usually, like, first blush for a lot of people, including myself, if I don't have a good beer from a brewery, I usually don't drink that brewery again. Like I've had a lot of experiences where I've just had a really, really bad beer from a good brewery just because those things happen. I just never gone back there.
Yeah.
Like, which sucks.
Do you give like a pass in terms of like, you know what, it's very hard for everyone to hit everything out of the park, but I get what you're saying though. If you're putting it on tap, you're standing behind it. So I mean,
Yeah, and sometimes you have to stand by things you don't like. You know, it just is what it is. But I don't know. I think I give them a pass when it's something when it's something that's not too bad. Like sometimes you just drink beers and you're just kind of like, what happened here? Like, why would you even put this out? Like, I know that sounds bad, but I know I've done it too.
yeah.
And I also know I've dumped beers without our owner knowing down the drain because I refused to put them on. So I mean, I know you guys are the same way, like in a sense. Like
We just dumped a 30 about a month ago.
Yeah,
And it was gut punch to an owner, but it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, you have to do it. You
Yeah.
can't put because then it kills your inventory. Your inventory's clogged up with the beer no one's drinking. You know, and you don't know what to do with it. You can't sell it, and it's just you just like us, like our owner doesn't like to dump things, so sometimes we'll just move stuff out in ambient temperature, and it just sits there and it looks terrible. Mm-hmm. I mean, so.
So that's amazing to me too, and I don't go out to breweries anymore, just because I'm really I guess I'm a little bit more sensitive to the fact that it's a process, and sometimes it's not up to the brewer what gets put on tap. You know what I mean? So like, there's always a little bit of different things involved in it, but I tend to just like I'll buy beers and just have them at home. I'd much rather evaluate or do those types of things. A lot of times I'll buy beers that I know I'm not gonna. It's not my cup of tea, the style or whatever, but just to get some more.
I understand. Yeah, I do the same thing.
Background.
I'll go to like Windsor and pick up like one style, and I'll ask them, how many more of this can you grab me? Whether it's a single hop, whether it's a style itself. Like I want to taste something and recreate it. Like, but going to a brewery itself, like unless I'm with people, like I'm not probably gonna go.
Yeah, like I asked my assistant brewer Bridget, because she hangs out with Steven Torres, and Victor's always around and everything, and they go to different breweries and stuff. And I was just fascinated because I go, can Victor and Steven go to another brewery and just like sit there and enjoy the beer and not overanalyze it? She's like, oh yeah, definitely they can do that. And I was like, how? I can't do that. Like, it's just because it's like a journey, right? You're constantly trying to well-round yourself in this industry, and you want to make the best beer. And I can't not drink something and question what went into it, what ingredients were in it, and what process did they go. It's almost like it's an annoying thing, actually.
Oh no, we talked about it last week. It was like almost like a chef where you're trying to deconstruct that recipe just from tasting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can do educated guesses, but I think like, or sometimes someone will be like, oh no, this is what we do with that, and I'm like, fuck, kudos. You know?
I think a lot of times this community too. I think when we go around, when I am at breweries, usually it's with my team, and it's for some, industry thing. Almost everyone I run into, and talk about their beers are really open about it when it's like the head brewer I'm talking with, or so like a lot of times people are willing to share their insight into how they did it, which is always really nice. But like, if they're not there, it is like you said. It's like I want to deconstruct this. I want to see if I'm interested in it. If it's something that's new to me, it's something that like has that makes me my eyebrows raise when I have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's so few and far between when I have. I mean, it's not few and far between. It's just everybody's making good stuff now. So it's really a rarity to find something that's like kind of stands out.
What's the last beer that did that to you?
Ooh. Gosh, there was one. What was it? It must have been. You know what? Honestly, we went to North Park on the 30th of December, and I think that
Which one? The one in
the one in North Park,
Okay.
San Diego. And like I honestly, the best brewery I've ever been to in my time.
Right?
It's phenomenal.
I agree.
Unquestionably,
They
beer,
have-
food. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's like just to have that like in your backyard as your basically like what you're looking to do, your guide stone.
Well,
I
you
think
have
they're
that,
lo-
and you have Pure, then you have those two, pretty much right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's like crap.
I think their lagers are so underrated. That's my.
Oh my God, they're so good. They're
1,000%
so
underrated.
so
They're
good.
so good.
And did you end up going to Derek's spot, goal.
Yeah, we went to Goal, we went to Seek, we went to the little tiny like medieval spot that's in the middle of those
Yeah,
two.
sword and stone.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
which is nice.
I like Seek too. Seek's got some good stuff.
Yeah, Dave and Nikki are amazing. We've hung
Yeah.
out with them a couple times. Our distributor carries them too. So we have like they made that connection for us, and just amazing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like really, really nice. Can party way too hard. I don't know how they do it, but they're friends with everyone too. And yeah, I mean, some of those. It's amazing to me how good they are, but how good friends they are with each other across the board. Those teams in that North Park area, like they love each other, and I think it's just because they're all killing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really impressed with. I mean, Derek's got an amazing brewery history, and what he's doing over at Goal, and you know, as a brewer, you look at that system and you see the space or the footprint of it, and you know, I'm sure he's climbing over kegs to get to the kettle and this and that, you know. But you do what you got to do, and his beer's just been, every time I've been down there, it's been awesome. But yeah, I think North Park is my pinnacle, and you see that system too. And you're going, how the hell are they punching out all these beers all the time?
Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable, so.
Well, I don't know if you guys have plans on the 24th. Well, this will be out Super Bowl weekend. But the 24th, I'm going down to San Diego for my birthday. We're going to hit up, I think we're going to hit up Seek. We're going to do Pure, North Park, all that. If you guys don't have plans, you guys are more than welcome to come down and have a brew.
I'm always down for a San Diego trip. I love.
Oh yeah,
I love
definitely.
going to San Diego.
24th?
Yeah, the
works.
24th.
Yeah.
So we usually get there early in the morning. We go to Old Town Mexican Cafe in Old Town, have breakfast, and then hit up the first brewery shortly thereafter. So
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think the industry's, like Jimmy said, is exciting now too, because there was a period of time where there was so many people brewing that, you know, the criticalness of making beer or decent beer was you know, maybe not the forefront, but now, like, you know, Orange County, I think, is surrounded by some really incredible breweries.
Yeah.
And it's cool to be a part of it. I don't know personally where we stack up when it comes to that, and I think that's a driving force for me to just try and keep staying in the game sometimes. But yeah.
We're just trying to establish ourselves as truly the delinquents of the brewing industry over now.
I love it.
Jimmy's team is like Jimmy and the Misfits, but I just don't think Jimmy would have it any other way. It would be
I wouldn't.
boring.
Yeah.
It has to be fun.
No, I love that, and because I remember that after we recorded that first episode, and then talking to Josh after, and be like, "Hey man, can I come down and hang out with you guys?" I just wanted to because I would love to I've only ever brewed once, but it was on a homebrew scale, but it was really fun. I enjoyed doing it, and I asked you, but I every time I try to line up a schedule, I know I'm pretty busy, so, and I know you're super busy, but I would love to be able to sit or go in and just to watch or help out whatever you need me to do on a brew day. I'd love that. The only bad thing, it'd have to be on a weekend because I work during the week. But yeah.
Jimmy is not
Opposed to doing it on the
opposed to
weekend,
week
Mike.
brewing on
Yeah.
weekends. Sunday mornings early sometimes.
If you guys do something, speaking of which, do
Sunday
you guys have any
mornings.
collabs coming up? Or you guys?
No, we're
planning
supposed
anything?
to figure out some stuff this year, I think.
Awesome.
I don't know what your schedule's looking like this year, Jimmy, but we'd love to.
No, we will. It's just a matter of we're at that point right now where we're trying to reestablish distribution. You know how that is with us, right? And we're almost there. It's just a matter of we're at that point right now where everything's we have so many vectors lined up for but nothing's quite hit as hard as it needs to hit. And as soon as it does, then we can kind of take a step back. The whole seltzer game for us wasn't so much new flavors; it was efficiency. There's only two of us really who do it, and the seltzers take us 8 hours a piece, as opposed to brewing for 8 to 10 hours, and then cellaring for a week or 2.
8 hours a piece. Wow.
Yeah, that's what we love them. People, I'm not literally. So you're talking about seltzers, and you're kind of not they're not your thing. They're not my thing either. Literally, everybody's trying to get me a brew one for a long, long time at Noble, or at Ballast Point. I wouldn't touch them until I had something that was a little bit different in my head to make. I mean, that was the only reason why, but then when we did it, and I realized how much easier it made things, it's just a matter of doing that. So once we get that done, it feels like our schedule's opening up. We have a lot of plans to go on vacations and stuff like this year with do collabs and stuff like that. And obviously, you guys are included to do it right this time, where we actually like work all the way down to the nitty gritty.
That'd be cool. Actually, one that you should come and do a collab with us with is you should check them out too, Mike. Called Crow and Wolf up in Fresno.
Oh,
yeah.
love Cone Wolf.
Okay.
Crow and Wolf.
Yeah,
They're great.
Dude, the shit that they put out is just ridiculous.
It's great, and so they are one of the reasons we started changing up the way we make our seltzers because of
Yeah.
how they do it and their filtration process.
Yeah.
It almost comes out like now where our seltzer's like a vodka almost.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
You
The
know,
clarity of it. Yeah, your guys' stuff.
so, and then we muck it up with a bunch of different shit and fruit and stuff. But yeah, they're amazing people up there, and just there's another brewer up there, Brad. that-
Have you ever been to Machine Head up there?
yeah, that's
Oh.
you know where he's from.
Oh yeah.
Alvarado Street, I believe.
Yeah. So I knew the guy that I brewed with the one time is I don't know if you ever met him. His name's Ryan Hansen. He does like his own he makes his own he calls it his own hop water, but he also has his own brew system in his house.
Yeah.
And it's like I got to meet all the guys at Machine Head through him, and then we'll talk to all the guys from Machine Head through him, and then all the Crone Wolf people. Like they're all like everybody seems like
Super tight
nice.
up there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and like I said, the beers are just like you would think Fresno, Clovis kind of area. You wouldn't expect it to be like the quality up there, but I mean because of the way the industry is now, like it's everywhere.
Yeah. We did a collab up there, and it happened to be like a 109-degree day
Oh,
in the
dude,
summer.
it gets fucking hot up there. My sister lives up in Tulare, so like not far, about an hour south of there.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
And we walk into the brewery, and their head brewer Brad, he's got yellow tank top and like shorts and sandals
He's
on.
got short shorts on.
And he's like, "All right, you guys ready to mash in?" I go, "You're gonna brew like that?"
He's
He's like,
surviving, man.
"It's a fucking oven here, dude." So, and then we would go into the cold box for like 10, 15 minutes at a time.
cool down
come
and
out.
come
He
back
lives in the
out.
cold box.
Yeah. But
We should do that collab. Get Monkey King involved. Call it Welcome to the Gangbang.
oh, all right, let's do that. Get Rombo in.
Yeah, get Rumbo in there. He always got 2 cents to put in.
Speaking of which, are you guys going to Vegas for the oh shit. All right.
Like bad idea Vegas. Is
Yeah.
what we're going for right now. It's scary already.
It's already
Nice.
like one day too many in my eyes. I can feel, but
I think we're getting an Airbnb house.
Oh, you are?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So the whole gang's going?
The whole gang is going.
Nice. And when is this?
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
When is it?
When is this? April?
April
April.
21st to the 23rd.
I might have. I haven't been to Vegas in like 12 years, so I might have to go just.
Vegas scares me.
It's at the Venetian. Well, all
Oh,
the
is it?
seminars are at the
Are the
Venetian.
Venetian?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I don't know. Like here's my theory on the seminar stuff. Like if you go once every 3 years, maybe less than that, every 2 years, you're not seeing the same shit every year, verbiage and stuff. So you can kind of pick up some new stuff. Otherwise, sometimes these are the best conferences to go to and just meet new people and other breweries out there. I always try and like send a DM to some local breweries and say, hey, we're coming out. I'd love to just stop in and say hello and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be fun. Vegas is a double-edged sword for me because I do like to gamble a lot.
Oh yeah, but we talked about like sports betting a little bit
I
that
could
one time. Yeah,
sit at a sports book for hours upon
Same.
hours betting on some
that's the dream.
dumb horse in
Yeah.
fucking New Hampshire on a television screen, and it's the
Yeah.
most exciting thing for me. So
For me, it'd be like probably because I don't bet on basketball, but like football or English, like soccer, I'll bet on the EPL or baseball for that matter. Like, but I like to bet like the prop bets, like if someone's gonna hit a dinger or someone's gonna do
that's
that.
all I did this NFL year. I didn't
I
do
love
any
it.
overs. I didn't do any favorites. I just did prop bets, and so. But I got a tip on Sunday where we're going to try and do a parlay and buy some points on some of the favorites. We'll see what happens.
There you go.
But Kittle, I think Kittle's going to pop this weekend.
Okay,
on Sunday.
I like that.
Okay.
So this is gonna come out Super Bowl weekend. So prediction: who do you think is gonna go to the Super Bowl, and who do you think is gonna win?
Who I want to go is probably a different question. I'm not going to say what everyone says. Everyone says it's going to be Ravens, San
Niners.
Francisco.
Yeah.
So I may be wrong, but the 49ers are playing a team that's got a tremendous amount of grit and a big chip on their shoulder.
Oh yeah.
And they've been, defying odds. So I don't think that game's over under 52 points. I think that there's going to be a tremendous amount of scoring, and I think the Lions are going to come out top. So I'll say Ravens Lions.
That was my pick. So when I recorded yesterday for episode 50, I was like, that was my pick for them to go. So snap.
And I hate the Ravens, so I'm a Browns fan, but
Yeah.
It's hard to say that they won't win it all. But
Yeah.
You think the Ravens are going to beat the Chiefs?
Yeah, I was sketchy about
I don't
it,
think they're
but
gonna
it's
beat
like
the Chiefs.
I think it's like 4.5 points.
What's
I think,
Lamar's
right
record
now.
in the playoffs? Like 2-4, something.
yeah,
like
it's
that?
not great.
It's not great. He always kind of
Oh,
doesn't pull through
yeah.
in the playoffs.
I think
Or
he's
maybe
won
this
like
is
one
his year.
playoff game.
Yeah, he won 2, right? He's
What
won
was it,
2,
2 and 4? I think.
something like that. Yeah, I just can't see him beating the Chiefs.
And
Yeah.
he lost to shit. Like Titans beat him one
But
year,
their
I think.
but their defense is pretty fucking stout. Like they got a really good defense this year, and I feel like their defense is better than Kansas City's defense. But then again, you're the Chiefs, and you have Patrick Mahomes too. But
You have
I'm
Kelsey
still
running out
hoping.
there.
So Mahomes, and they got, okay, so the other thing I read today was they got Taylor Swift. So
Yeah.
they had 50 million viewers last Sunday to watch that Chiefs game. So I don't see how the NFL doesn't pick up the bat phone and make the Chiefs make it to
yeah.
the Super Bowl so that they can get Swift viewers.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so if you're wrong, if the Chiefs make it, it's conspiracy, is what you're saying.
Oh, the NFL is all rigged. I think
all
it's
rigged.
totally rigged.
I mean, my fucking Packers blew it against the freaking Niners. Was it last week?
Wow, they were so fun to watch this preseason
Oh,
too.
it was fun to watch it. Yeah, as they you saw them kind of grow together. I mean, and now they're gonna have to pay Jordan Love a ton of money, but
You know what,
That's
though?
all right though.
That's what the team should have been like. But when you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers, you can't.
Yeah.
So now they finally got somebody in there that's gonna run the system the way they want it. And
Oh yeah, and as much as I love Aaron, even I love Brett, I still think that it's crazy that both of them got traded to the Jets. 10 years in between or whatever it was, or 12 years in between.
Yeah, and
But
can you imagine having a career ender or a year? He got injured this past season.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going back to the Jets. Like,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, but he wants to stay. I mean, they have the Jets have a good young defense. I mean, and I won't. The only reason I hated Brett as much as I did after he left was because he went to the Vikings. But I mean, now I'm like, all right, Brett's he won a Super Bowl for for Green Bay and stuff like that. But
yeah.
now I'm just like with Aaron, I'm not as mad because it was like at least it's the Jets. If he would have went to the Bears or the Vikings or something like that.
Well, that had to end somehow, and I guess that's probably the most amicable way. So.
Oh, for sure.
But no, I get frustrated with the NFL. I just think that the NFL cares about is last-second field goals. And,
Oh, yeah.
Every year I bitch about the refereeing. And so
Oh yeah, even for the Ravens Chiefs tomorrow, I think I said I was like I think the Ravens win, but I think the Chiefs cover that spread because it's 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be a field goal game. I guarantee it. It's going to come down to someone going down there and kicking a field goal. But if I was going to bet, I would say Ravens win, but the Chiefs cover the 4.5.
Does anyone feel bad for the Bills? No.
Wide right.
Oh, I did. Yeah. Oh, I mean, but it was the same thing for the Packers, except it went left.
Yeah.
It was like I was like freaking.
That was shades of
Clarkson?
what, Steve Christie back in the day?
Yeah.
Steve
Yeah.
Christie from the Bills. Oh my gosh.
Dude, oh yeah, well, against the
3 in a
freaking,
row.
oh
Jim
yeah,
Kelly,
dude.
Thurman Thomas.
Did you ever watch the 30 for 30 on that?
No.
Oh,
I
gosh.
think I would have been upset just because
It was
being
tough,
a Browns
man.
fan, like I've had defeats like that before, and I just
Yeah.
I don't want to see this. Like
Yeah.
that Bills fan that was just sobbing on the
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the crowd. I was like, oh fuck.
I mean, I feel like there's always those kind of moments, like as a fan, like whether it doesn't matter the sport, but there's always that one heartbreaking moment being a fan. And like I think for me it was like when Elway spun into the end zone when he got
Oh, when he got
popped.
hit. Yeah, when
Yeah,
he jumped up,
and
got
when
hit.
the
yeah.
Packers, I was like, oh, we got this locked up. It's gonna be great. We're gonna win 2 back-to-back Super Bowls. Things are gonna be amazing. And that was like one of the ones for me, like a backbreaking moment.
Yeah.
At least it felt like as a kid, anyway.
Well, still everyone's still gonna watch NFL, and the I don't know. I'm excited to see Usher. I saw him in Vegas like a year after.
You're excited for the halftime show?
Yeah.
Oh, Usher.
The halftime show, bro?
Yeah.
One of the reasons I
And
wanted
the
to go-
commercials.
Yeah. Oh, the commercials
the
are always
commercials.
great. Wait, because you're talking about because you saw Usher in Vegas, you said?
Yeah, he was touring, or he did a what do they call it?
Oh,
stay.
residency?
Yeah, and we went. It was like I don't know, 8 months after everything had shut down, or maybe 9 months, something like that, and it was weird being in a big room with a bunch of people and everything.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not an Usher fan. I don't know his music, but like,
Yeah.
what a fucking
What a showman.
performer!
Oh,
Yeah.
my God, yeah.
What does he say in Step Brothers? Not Step Brothers. What's the one with him and Wahlberg?
There's a movie with Usher and Wahlberg.
No. Sorry, with Will Ferrell and Wahlberg. The other guys.
Yeah.
He's all the pageantry, the showmanship. Wow, what a musical.
What a musical.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get sick to see the viewership and all that, and I'm like, we're just all feeding into the
Oh, no doubt.
the good old monster, I guess.
Yeah. But if I was going to go to Vegas, I don't know if they still have a residency there, but I always wanted to see New Edition. Yeah. I always wanted to watch New Edition, but I was like, I don't know if they're still there or not.
I can only imagine where that was playing at.
Yeah, who knows? It's been super fun.
So who do you
guys.
got coming up for podcast? Got anything else on the docket?
You mentioned Native Son earlier. Oh, so tomorrow I'm recording at La Bodega with Abraham, and then taking I'll have the episodes because I usually have like 3 or 4 in the bank. So I have a week off, and then the week after that I'm going to go to Native Son. I'm going to talk to John over at Native Son. That should be pretty fun. And then I have
Ask him about the Thirsty Thursday.
Thursday.
I was always fascinated by that concept because it's actually a pretty brilliant concept.
What is the concept? I don't even know what it is.
Like bracket March Madness for Thirsty Thursday for.
Oh yeah, because last time I was here, didn't you guys have like the?
We're really not allowed to be in that.
And
Well,
we're back.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to somehow get into it last
No,
year.
it's fun to watch too. Either that's where we met. So I mean,
Oh, last year you were in the tournament, like the whole tournament
They made it to
happened.
the end.
Yeah.
the
I
only reason they
remember.
lost because I didn't vote for him.
Oh, way to go, Jimmy.
Didn't put my bottle cap in.
Oh.
His face is
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck?
He's like, you motherfucker.
No, I was just gonna say that there were some very, very worthy opponents, and there was definitely some that were interesting, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything we had was pretty good.
Yeah. But the concept is really, really, I think, smart, and it's a good concept. So.
Oh, I mean, it brings people in.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people want to come together for, especially sporting events. I mean, obviously that's a huge market. Like if you can tap into that and because even the people that might not drink beer come in and they'll be like, well, I'll try this. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting somebody in the door, and that's the big, that's half the battle. I feel like sometimes.
Yeah.
If you were in the room when we figure out what beers we're bringing,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny because it just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We spend way too much time on it. It's like always down to 4 or 5 beers. And we're like, well, no, I think you're going to get some more people like this coming out, so we should take this. It's like, nobody's ever won with this and this and a seltzer. And and it gets nerve-wracking to the point where I'll just walk out and I'll be like, I don't give a shit. Like,
Yeah. Take whatever the fuck
pick the
you want.
fucking beer. I'm done. So, trying to run a brewery.
Yeah.
So, but it's fun. It keeps the community alive. Now, what I think would be bomb this year is like OC Beer Week. We actually did some fun stuff. Like we did some tap takeovers together over at some places and everything. Like our OC Beer Week has been like always like just tough. Like it doesn't live up to hype. LA always had a better beer week and everything. And so I think like there's some cool stuff we could do to try and make it a little bit more, of a thing and everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of things lacking for OC with respect to like organization, how things are done. Like, probably shouldn't make it in, but there's a lot of clicks in OC that kind of ruin things a little bit.
Yeah, and I guess that's going to happen everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's everywhere, but
I got my own little clique with you and some other
right.
misfits, and I'm happy with that. But yeah, no, I think there's always going to be people that are at the top of their game, in the industry and everything. And
they're at that point where they're about to go down and they want to keep themselves up there, so they resort to things.
It's got to be exhausting to
100%, yes.
stay that high up and everything. And so, but I'm really proud of our community and the things that it's gone through the past few years. And I think it's amazing if anybody's still standing brewing. It just definitely hasn't been easy. I know what you go through to get a batch finished.
I mean, we all do it though. Like, you're right. The quality of this of our geographic region has just gone through the roof since the pandemic. You didn't know. Everybody said during the the beginning that this would be the time when people are going to come and make new things and things are going to get better, and it truly has. Like the evolution has just been on fast forward for a hot second there, and as part of it is like the new products coming out. They finally got like some of the hot products dialed in. You remember when nobody would use the cryo at the very beginning? It wasn't that good, and then they finally got the cryo right finally, and then the incognito came out, which is a huge game changer. Now the Keef coming out too. And now everybody's coming out with something. I feel like they finally figured out how to do it right after there'd been so much time where we had those CO2 extracts.
Yeah.
They ended up just being like $160 to throw in the hot side. It was like a waste.
Did you ever try using that on the cold side?
No, we never did. I never did.
We tried. It was the stupidest thing we ever did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It just tasted horrible?
The form of it never wanted to loosen up.
Oh, it just had like the oil blobs in there? Yeah.
Yeah. But someone had a bright idea to try and use that on the cold side, and I was like,
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Do stupid stuff like that all the time.
dude, Jimmy, the other question I have for you was like, you've also done some collabs outside of our region. So like, was it
Lake Arrowhead.
Lake Arrowhead. So how did you meet them, and like how do you meet people outside of our?
Usually our distributor, to be honest with you, Hardyhead. They
Okay.
do a great job. They want us to do collabs with a lot of people, and they have a lot of rad breweries on their list. They have Droit Theory, Spanish Marie. So across the country, they're like top to bottom, everything's amazing.
Steve and Tim are awesome.
Yeah, they have Sikhs on their stuff. They picked up Kings. They picked up, like some of the names they've picked up since we came on are just like, we want to do collabs with all of them.
That's awesome.
Like, it doesn't matter whether like superficially, like maybe we met each other and it wasn't a good meeting with that brewery. Like, at the end of the day, I'm more than happy to do a collab, because I know at the end of the day, when we're doing things and running around, it's a festival or whatever, like, not everybody wants to be there. I know I don't want to be there. I know the night before is probably a terrible night, but like nonetheless, like, these guys have pushed so many collabs towards us that we want to do. It's just creating the time to do it, like, and pushing the other side to it too. So where it's like kind of like we both breweries want to do it. Nobody's kind of hesitant about it. So that's how we get ours, as our distributor. And sometimes we'll do them ourselves, but like those get kind of messy a little bit. Like when it's not already pre-set up, like people will come in and try to influence it in ways that don't need to be influenced. Like whether it's about like not just collabing, but also like taking a financial aspect of the whole thing is really what screws up a collab. I think like when you start bringing money into the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
In terms of both being able to sell it, or
Yeah, selling it. Like we've had people come and they want to do a collab with us, but they're like, okay, you pay for our beer at like distributor prices, and then we can flavor it together and you can sell it on tap. And then to us, that's kind of like, no.
So yeah,
Right, that's not a collab. We're just buying your beer.
yeah.
I've gotten the, which I don't know which is worse, but I've gotten the, how many followers do you guys have on Instagram?
Oh, that's
Oh.
Josh's area. Like that
Him,
matters
yeah.
too
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Oh, him. Yeah. He was
All
one.
day.
Yeah.
I mean, not all day. I mean, I won't. I'll tell you off air who like big leagued me big time because of it. But yeah,
It's silly. We have a good friend, the head brewer up at Immersion. He used to brew at Taps, and
Oh, really?
prior to Taps was at Mason,
Okay.
James, and he always put it best. He said, we're not fucking curing cancer. We're brewing fucking beer, guys. Like,
Put a smile on people's face at the end of the day.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
our job.
and like, what more could you ask for? I mean, like, you want to be able to have a business that's flourishing and stuff like that, but still, like, what the fuck does the followers matter? I'm not trying to be a
I
dick,
used to be all about it. I used to be like, we need to have this many followers and everything and so forth. And then when you get to a point, I think we just have like 15 or 16,000. But when you get to 16,000, does 16.4 matter compared to 16.8 or 17? You know what I mean? It starts to become really petty
Every person
and stupid.
matters. Every person matters.
Mind you, I'm almost positive majority of our followers either are bandit accounts or people that passed away, because our likes are only like 100 likes or something. So
Oh, it happens that happens to me all the time. And because a lot of the times I feel like when it comes to the account, like the beer accounts, they have their second account, so they're only on that beer account maybe half the week. So the rest of the time, and that's mostly on the weekend. So the rest of the time they're on their personal account, so they don't see your posts.
Yeah.
Dude, and that dude, I see that happens to me all the time. There's some reels where I'll get like 4,000 or 5,000 views on it, and then the next one it's like 755 or 400 and
Yeah.
whatever, and it's like, but because of those people, like like you're saying with the accounts, like they have their beer account, and then they have their normal account, and they're not always on both.
Yeah. I think the thing we saw, like before my time, but looking back on the, is we when you're doing bad is when like your likes go from like 500 to 600 per post to like 10, which
Yeah.
is what happened to us. Yeah, like so that happened so I came on and it was already really bad. You know what it was like when I started.
Yeah.
And now it's just been about like using the likes to like kind of figure out whether we're like kind of growing again.
Jimmy, do you have to defend your Noble on a consistent basis, or is it not?
Well, what do you mean by
like,
fan?
Well, like when you started, you said that it was like you had to
Almost rebrand.
We had to retool
in a
everything.
way.
Yeah.
We had to retool everything. We had to all the beers, the system itself, the actual configuration of both sellers. Yeah, it was just
and the outside perception too, because
100%. Yeah.
of some of the
Other crap that was going on at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, and which hurt, but at the same time, like from that standpoint, for some of the other stuff, I do defend us because I feel like some of the stuff was BS, true BS. Even though that like it makes like it's some of the stuff that happened, you would think probably would happen, it didn't happen that way, and so that was hard. And then there was just the matter of like the brewery itself, like just looked horrible for a hot second, like until maybe like 2 weeks ago when you were there. Where we finally pulled down the wall separating the two places.
Oh, did you really?
Everything's clean now. We
Nice.
cleaned the floors. Like
It looks great. In there.
the barrel where we used to have barrels, we took out the barrels and drywalled the whole room. We're gonna make it a whole tiki themed room. The back is all cleaned up. We have a permanent stage back there now.
Do you have a drywall guy, or did you do it?
We do have a drywall guy. It's so one of Josh's best friend is one of the big guys from O'Neill Construction, so he does all the Disneyland hotels and stuff like that. He's
Nice.
a project manager for those things.
Nice.
So he gives us his guys who come over just on a moment's notice and gives us really cheap prices. I'm gonna hook you guys up.
Okay.
No, and it's gonna look. I mean, because I remember when we recorded last Saturday, I walked in, I was like, "What happened to all the barrels?"
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks great in there though. I mean, so far, I mean, like, and just putting up all the drywall that they did, it looks good so far.
And that's helped a ton. You can see already the taproom growth is larger. It looks, when you go inside, it doesn't look like a back alley anymore. You can,
Oh, no, definitely.
It looks like you see a tank farm all the way down the way now.
Yeah.
You guys are also doing a lot of really, really creative stuff from a marketing perspective. I know Josh is really good at that, but you guys are,
Oh.
they're doing, what was the one day you guys had a tattoo artist there?
Yeah. Yeah, she comes periodically, I feel.
Yeah,
like,
she
and it's
sold
always
out,
a good
too.
day.
Like-
She always does a good job. I mean, people are there till like 2 or 3 in the morning, like getting tattoos.
Yeah, so really smart stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like all the tiki stuff, like with Tiki Tony and everything like that. Is
Oh,
like,
that's
dude,
that's something else. That
Yeah.
we couldn't believe how big that group is since we have like
Oh,
Jeff
yeah.
Granito, who's like a huge Disney artist,
Yeah.
one of the biggest tiki artists in the world, who came on and is doing our stuff. And everyone knows what's his face, Tiki Tony. Everyone knows
Yeah.
Tony. He's just done. He does it. They do this can art that would usually cost like $2,500. We give him a case of beer.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. Like so, and everybody keeps like jumping on. Like I think on Monday we're meeting Strongwater, do something with them. On Tuesday we're doing our can release at Stowaway. Like and it just keeps building and building and building.
Yeah, and
That's
with
awesome.
the 10th is you guys are doing the Tiki Tony's gonna be there, right?
Yeah, on the
I
10th
know.
we're doing a Disney influencer. I forget her, Michelle, I think is her name. She's actually Disney hired her as an influencer. She's
Wow.
having like at least 150 people.
Is
at
she the Star Wars one? Okay.
No
Yeah.
idea. No idea. She has a close connection to the food and beverage
Okay.
department. So we're gonna have like Tiki Tony will be there. I guess like Jeff Granito will be there. A whole bunch of like huge people like from an artist standpoint will be there, and that's all Josh. It's all Josh.
Yeah.
Like
great.
Josh is
like it's one thing to make good beer, make good product, but if you don't have good marketing, like
know.
it just dies.
Oh, even like I mean, I remember like I think it was in May when they did like the influencer night. We were all there. We all like the CWO guys were there.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of that stuff. Like it was just a fun night. Like Lucy from Louis Liquor and all that sort
Yeah, I
of stuff.
think we're doing it again on like I don't know, next month.
I'm down.
12th or
I
something.
mean, I'll be there, so I'm sure.
There's two areas I think that Unsung fails miserably at, and it's all because of me, I know, but our merch game is trash. Not that the merch we've come out with isn't cool.
Yeah, I like your merch.
But we just don't. It's not on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Where we're continually ordering it and changing colors and this and that. And then just like the event side of things is like it really takes a lot of time, and I don't have anyone to kind of like steelhead that, you know. And so when we do events like our anniversary, or we've done a lager fest before or something, like it's either in between like getting ready for GABF or World Beer Cup, or it's always during prime season.
Yeah.
And you're still like trying to, oh shit, we got 10 kegs of Lumino left, and we still got 3 weeks of lagering. We're fucked, you know. And so it's just a lot to juggle.
Oh, for sure.
But it is important because that's what people are seeing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because like you almost have to you have to have like somebody to be able to just take care of that aspect of it, because you're so busy with everything else. I mean, you're the business owner. You have to worry about, but you also still want to brew, and you still want to do that stuff that you love. So trying to find the time for everything is tough.
Yeah, and I like that we're lean, as I mentioned before, but I think that, it could be detrimental to us. Like I said, we're looking for another taproom location, and once that hits, like I'll have to be over there to make sure that gets up and running, and so then you got to make sure you have the right people in place and the additional support to help them. So
100%.
I don't know, man. It's a fun, crazy, fucked up industry, but it's one that I never thought I'd enjoy as much as I do.
Oh yeah, I mean, and, like when I talk to both of you guys, or like whether it was the first episode or whether it's been Jimmy a few times on like the little segments that we do, like you can see, like, I mean, I know times can be stressful sometimes, but you can see that genuine like happiness that you doing what you love to do, like it brings it out, like just like your body language, stuff like that. You can really see like how much you care about, obviously, the business, the industry, the product that you're putting out, the pride that you have in that product. And to me, I mean, that warms my heart. I'm not trying to make this all sappy or anything like that, but
it reminded me. I have a funny story. My dad and my mom came out and visited like 6 or 7 months ago, and you try to explain to someone, especially a loved one, like what you do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
You don't get it.
it doesn't always resonate.
Yeah, and it goes right through them and stuff. And so, oh, what's going on today, Mike? Oh, fuck, we had a stuck mash and this. That. I mean, that means nothing. But when you
They're
talk
like,
to
"What's
someone
a
like
stuck
Jimmy,
mash?"
they're like, oh, you were fucked for 6 hours, you know?
You had the worst day ever.
Yeah. So when my parents came out, I said, buck up, man. Dad, you're getting up at 6 a.m. and we're going to mash in. And
you're not going to be mowing the lawn this time. You're going to be
right.
You're gonna be doing it. Yeah.
So he came, and my dad's a cigar smoker, and so he likes to. He'll smoke in the brewery. Like it's really annoying because we're trying to smell stuff. And he's like, "All right, so when are you gonna go get lunch?" And I'm like, "Lunch?" I'm like, "What do you mean? And so after I put him through a full day, I had dinner with him later that evening, and he was like, "Wow." He's like, "I had no idea what you do on a daily basis and everything." And I think a pipe leaked that day too, so I had to go fix a Schedule 80 pipe at the same time. It was something like that.
Wow.
And he had a brand new appreciation, but it's one of those things where you're trying to explain to somebody your daily activity and everything, and until you physically go through it or witness it, it's just something that's hard to communicate, you know what I mean? So he gained a little bit more appreciation and respect for what I do. So now, if I'm having a bad day and I bitched him about something, he
understands.
I don't know if he thought that I just had people to like, oh, go do this, do that.
Because he thinks you're the one that owns it. You're like, oh, you do this and you do that and you do blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But
So
that's.
I think what people don't get is people come into a brewery and they see the process, but if they've never been in a brewery before, and everything starts breaking, it seems like every week something goes wrong in a brewery.
Yeah, there's a fire you got to put out.
Yeah, exactly. And so like they just think the brewery's not run well until you go to every other brewery in the world and realize this is just a normal thing.
It's probably run better than most. Like I've been in some Frankenstein breweries before where they were put together not professionally.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, I can't believe what they got to go through on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it gives you a little bit better appreciation for you. I mean, there's plenty of stuff that we've upgraded because we've, dipshit, engineered it, just to try and be a little bit more professional. Because I was like, if we don't have to deal with this every 3 or 4 months, that's a blessing.
Yeah.
Like up here, this is what sucked, but our glycol had a low freeze pop. in the middle of the night, it got cold one night.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that it did that. And so the pump constantly runs. So now our glycol is 95 degrees and we have 3 tanks crashed. And we
Shit.
didn't get up here for a whole week. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah. No, I've had that happen before. Definitely had that happen before.
So, but yeah, no, it's challenging, but it's, you know, where my pride comes from is like, all right, here was a problem, and like, how fucking fast did you fix that problem and get back on track?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, oh, this one took 3-4 fucking days because I couldn't get this part or something. But
Yeah.
like, my pride is where like, I'll come home, I'll go, fuck. I tell my
Yeah.
wife, I go, we could have screwed the whole batch up, but I went and I got a couple teas and some elbows, and I fixed this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're constantly doing, though. How many times have we saved batches? I feel
That's-
like
yeah.
that's like a monthly like occurrence almost.
We've had batches where I was like predicting this one's not coming out, it's going to be bad and everything, and the beer industry, the science of beer still amazes me. It's a living product, so it somehow figures out a way
Yeah.
to sometimes work itself out. But
Yeah. Well, how quickly can you become Tim the Tool Man Taylor?
if you knew me as a kid too, you would be like, I don't think I knew how to change a tire. You know, my dad, like, he would, you know, take pride with his lawn, and I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna cut the grass. He's like, you're not fucking this up. Yeah, so I didn't really learn too much about that stuff, but you learn really fucking quick
Oh,
when
yeah.
you got 10 grand in a batch, and so.
Can I tell you something, Mike? Like when you told me the story about your dad, you know, and the design for that can, mowing the lawn and stuff like that, that it, like, I may not have expressed it during that thing, but I remember going back, well, to my girlfriend at the time and talking to her and telling her, like, what that meant to me because of, like, you know, your dad was that, like, you know, like, he wanted his lawn to be immaculate. He wanted it to be perfect, but he wanted to do it himself. He wasn't going to go and hire somebody else to do that. He took pride in that. Just like I feel like you take pride in, you know, in your brewery and everything that you put out. And like I said, I'm not trying to be sappy or anything like that, but it was just like, it meant a ton to me because I take so much pride in this.
Awesome.
And I want to put out the stuff that people want to hear and be like, you know, like your episode is probably like, I got asked the question like which episode I got the most feedback on. And I get a ton of feedback from every episode. But yours is like when people go back, like even new listeners, like, well, tomorrow will be episode 50. Well, when this comes out, it'll be 52. But when they listen to that episode, they're like, it makes them want to go back to listen to those other episodes. And they tell me, like, man, like that was like, they're like, man, this is cool. And even people that aren't even into beer, they're like, man, like I really enjoyed that. Like, because they enjoyed hearing you talk about your dad and doing something like that for him, or even like the Fernando can, like the Lumino. And stuff like that, hearing those stories and me talking about like one of the guys, OG Chew Your Beer, like he's just like, I came down to the brewery just because I heard your episode.
Oh wow, that's
and
awesome.
He drove up from like Silmar, I think.
Oh.
And he was just like, he's like, oh yeah, all this stuff, like all the trench run and all that stuff that you have up on the walls. They're like, oh yeah, I saw that. You know, and then they thought it was like the coolest thing because they're like, oh, he's not like, you know, lying or anything, like he's not bullshitting. But I was like, dude, it was all everything that you have in here and like everything that you've done, and
Well,
it's cool, man.
I hope people can relate. And
Yeah.
being a small business owner, and you know, like Jimmy, like having a small team of human beings that are really good people trying to do the best products that they can.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
so, you know, you can kind of relate to that in any part of your industry. Like with my dad is growing up as my hero and everything.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's you know, to try and inject some realization into everything is cool. And you know, the brand is secondary, unfortunately, in my opinion. But you know, the brand itself has aspects that have touched billions and billions of people.
Oh,
So there's a
for sure.
relatability to it
Yeah.
as well. So
It's that hard work, like, you know, that, you know, you just like as much as your dad cared about what he was doing, you care so much about this.
Yeah.
To me, that means.
And I'll
means
add
everything.
the old Star Wars toys and everything. My brother still doesn't know that those are his.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
mine had all the legs
I love
broken
it.
or something. But he like kept his nice and neat, and so I just swiped them all.
I love that. And I mean, before we finish up though, I did want to ask, because, you know, obviously being comic people, I mean, I know like sometimes we get super busy, we can't read them as often, but has there been any runs or anything lately where you felt like it's kind of wanted you to make you read something new?
It's the way it used to go is I'd watch a show or a movie based on the comic.
Yeah.
And so now, because of time or lack of time, it's actually gone in reverse.
Oh, okay.
So like, I've been watching the Echo one,
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but I've heard it's good.
and so like I want to dive into that
Okay.
on the book side of things. I think that Loki kind of did a similar
Yeah.
thing to me, where I never liked Loki.
Same.
But I have a totally different appreciation for him now, mostly because you know, Tom Hiddleston is
Oh, he's a
had such a
phenomenal
great
actor.
portrayer. Yeah. So he breathed life into that character, where I just thought he was a snobby
Oh yeah.
comic character, you know. But yeah, no, I've gone in reverse the way it normally progressed.
Yeah.
But you just brought some awesome comics that, I mean, that crossover.
Oh yeah. The Big Trouble in Little China and Escape from New York.
Yeah, looks amazing. So
Yeah. No, anything like that. I mean, I love like, because I know you love Star Wars. Do you like Star Trek too? I don't think I asked you last time.
you know, growing up, you were either one. You were either Trekkie
Yeah,
or Star
you were
Wars.
either Trekkie or-
So I was always on Star Wars.
Oh yeah, same. I was always a Star Wars guy too, and then I eventually I started to like Star Trek too. But there's a crossover I have, and I have like multiple. I have doubles. I should have brought you one of those. Is a Star Trek Green Lantern crossover.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, where Captain Kirk finds the ring, and where he stumbles upon it and becomes, Chris Pine. It's Chris Pine's. Oh gosh, Will Shatner's character, Captain Kirk.
Kirk's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he finds the ring, but then he meets Hal Jordan, and there's like a whole thing.
Is it a what if scenario type thing?
It's I want to say it was Boom. I don't know if it was Boom Studios.
Okay.
It wasn't Dark Horse. I know that. I have to look at it, but I'll send you some pictures later on tonight of the comics. But it was just a really cool kind of thing, like where you find like the elders show up and like that. It's wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to check that out.
Yeah, and this Vienna lager,
Oh, cool.
bomb. Oh, there you go. Jimmy's gonna get a little taster. That is,
That's the red.
the other Vienna.
Oh, is that the one?
Oh, that's Agents.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is Agents of Anaheim.
Yeah.
But you know what's great? Like with that color, like you get that crispy, clean, like, but you also get like almost like that, almost like a brown kind of ale
I was
on
gonna
the
say
back end.
it's like a brownie
Yeah,
feel
it's
to it.
freaking delicious, man.
Is it- That's our neighbors that used to have Anaheim Brewery.
Yeah.
They actually come here a lot, and there were two beers they made that I love. Their Vienna and their Schwarzbier, and I was like, "Hell, why don't we make them?" And so that's what we did. We did both of those, and
That's really fantastic.
with the Schwarzbier, we actually had we entered it into, oh god, I'm gonna screw up the name. There was Schwarzmiss last December up in LA at Arts District.
Okay.
And so they had like 15 or 18 different black lagers on tap, and so
Wow.
we entered into there. And I don't know. Ron talked to some people, said that we ended up faring pretty well. But we didn't win. Beer to Tang has a phenomenal Schwarzbier. I think it's called Inked.
Oh, I've never had it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. They did really well there. But definitely try the red lager, the Italian red lager, before you guys leave.
Oh, I'm definitely down. But I know.
And I brewed that one myself up here in the 3 Barrel, so I was drinking it the other day. I'm like, I don't know if this tastes so good or if it's just because I did it. But
I love it.
yeah,
I'm definitely down to try it. Do you have cans of that? or no?
we don't. So
That's
like,
okay.
I didn't know how it was going to come out, but I do want to make a bigger batch of it.
Okay, well, definitely. I'm gonna have to buy a couple of 4-packs from you, so
Sweet.
I can. For when this episode comes out, I'll talk about those specific beers on the intro.
Awesome.
But thank you guys.
No, thank you,
Well,
man.
thank you.
I'm glad to hear that the podcast is doing well and
Oh yeah, man.
you're getting some really good conversations, which is pretty cool.
This is like this here. What we're doing is all I've ever wanted it to be, and just to go in from taps and tailgates to the tap room, and you being on episode 1, like I mentioned earlier, I'll sound like a broken record. I don't care, but having you back was, and then I was still having Jimmy on.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I'm happy to be a part of this. I feel
Oh, yeah.
very grateful.
For anyone that's just waking up from the entire episode, I apologize
No,
for droning
you're
on.
No, this is absolutely amazing, and like I said, I am always like I will sing everybody's praises if you give me the time of day, and you can tell it's starting to get busy in here. So if you get a chance to come on down to Unsung, or right across the street from the packing district. Oh, one last thing. Are you still growing peppers and stuff? Because we've been talking. Because I remember us talking about that, and I wanted to try, your peppers, but I don't know if you're still growing it.
I am. And there's a
Okay.
new show out on Hulu called Super Hots.
I saw that.
It's
I haven't
great.
seen it yet.
Oh, it's great. But those are the peppers that I've been growing, and I make hot sauce with them and stuff.
Yeah.
It's good. I had some on. I poured some of my hot sauce on Brussels sprouts last night, and
Okay.
so I'm probably gonna be wrecked later tonight. But
I love that. But is it like a thinner, like almost vinegar-based one, or like what do you do for yours?
no, so like you add a little turmeric to kind of
Okay.
like thicken it up a little bit, so it's kind of, I mean, it's like an eyedropper type consistency. Like,
Well, I'm gonna have to purchase a bottle of your hot sauce.
no, I'll give you one. It's fine.
I'm down.
It's good though, but like you put it on anything and definitely makes everything taste better.
Oh, I
Don,
bet.
you want? I want
Yeah,
one too.
I'm down. So we should just record an episode with the peppers all in the background.
Well, I have this awesome dream that I'll never come to fruition, but I want to I'll just get like a shitload of ghost peppers and I'll make just like a blonde or something, and we'll just infuse a shitload of ghost
do
peppers
it.
in it,
That'd
and I'm
be
gonna
awesome.
invite every brewery owner or like head brewer in Orange County to come, and it's just gonna be like, let's fucking, how many of these can you pound before you tap out?
Oh, can I be a part of that, please?
I think it'd be so fucking awesome, and you can record it and just see people's
Oh,
faces
yeah.
like melting. So
Yeah, because imagine like what's crazy too, like when it comes to like posting stuff, social media, like you would think, because I feel like something like that would like get, I don't know how many millions of views. But
and you can
sometimes
bet on people, and they can go to charity. I mean, we
Oh,
can make
yeah.
this.
Definitely. But don't you feel like sometimes like I made this really kick-ass reel. It's gonna go off and be like a big thing, and then it's like it gets like 500 views, and you're like,
I can just see all the people going in the emergency room after that night.
oh yeah.
Like
but
oh, I
make them
need the
sign a
emergency room.
disclaimer or just go, was that a release, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, come on, it's for charity. It's for
Yeah.
Charity.
Come on.
Yeah. Don't be a bitch,
It's for
dude.
chalk. We'll make it for chalk too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I love it.
so if you guys can help me out with that, that'd be great. The other
Well,
thing we're
yeah,
trying
yeah, let's
to
do
get
it.
off the ground, and Jimmy, I don't know if I talked to you about it, is LA IPA Fest. They do that every year up there. It used to be at Mohawk Bend. They got it somewhere else now. But we really need to make an OC IPA Fest as well,
Yeah.
and find a good venue for that, so that, and just bragging rights. Hey, Noble won first place in
Why Noble?
OC IPA Fest or whatever.
This is how you influenced me to go. I'm already gonna win before I even put beer in.
So look on the docket for that. We're gonna try and find a location for that.
Yeah, just let me know, and I'm up for it. But like I said, thank you guys again. This has been fun.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Thanks,
And-
Mike.
Yeah, this has been a blast. And I can't wait till we do it again.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. All right, so we're back. I don't know. I'm saying we're back, even though it's like everybody's listening to it. They're like, oh, nothing happened. But here with Big Ricks BBQ, Rick Becerra. What's going on, brother?
Oh, not a whole lot, Mike. Thank you for having me, brother.
Yeah.
It's good to be here, dude. So,
Yeah, we're over here at Noble, and one of your stomping grounds.
yeah, just we've been here for a minute. We've been lucky to keep being invited back by Josh and the whole clan here. So every time we come, man, we try and bring the fire and bring an appetite and
Yeah.
bring a whole lot of ready to drink
Damn right.
attitude.
Hey,
So
beer and barbecue, baby.
can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Cannot.
So, I mean, on that note, when it comes to Big Rick's BBQ, how did it all start for you?
You know what? It actually started a long time ago, man. When I was a youth, I just enjoyed cooking. It was whether it was just cooking for myself or cooking for my siblings or just cooking for my folks when they got off of work. It was just something that came natural to me. Of course, in life you make those choices where you want to succeed or go to school or something like that.
Of course.
I chose to join the service.
Yeah.
And just the love of barbecuing just kind of came to fruition over time, dude. And the last couple of years, we just Rosa and I have just kind of blossomed this thing, and we're building our brand at the moment, man. And yeah, we're really blessed, man. Things are going really well.
That's awesome. But you were in the service.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What branch?
I was in the Marine Corps.
Oh, so was my dad.
Yeah, man. Semper Fi, brother.
There you
So,
go.
but,
What did you do in the military? Were you a cook, or what did you
no,
do?
no, no. I was actually a field radio operator, brother.
Okay.
And then from there, it kind of branched out. serving my country, brother. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah.
There's the obligation of a civilian here, and being a citizen of this country, man. You just got to do it. So,
Oh no, I love that. I mean, because my dad, uh, and not to just bring this up on the show, but like my dad lied about his age when he was a kid
Sure.
just to enlist because he wanted to get out of the fields up
Yeah.
in Northern California or
man,
Central California.
I just wanted to get out of Santa Ana, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just, I was ready to kind of branch out, man. A lot of things weren't going so well for me.
Yeah.
And I had to take a chance in life, dude.
Yeah.
And that's really what kind of transpired. You know what I mean? And so, long story short, man, I'm glad everything that I went through there has kind of transformed me into what I am now, which is try to be the best person I can be for everybody else around me. So,
Oh, for sure. I mean, and sometimes like you go when you're going through life, you kind of feel like you're stuck, and you need to try to find a way out. And sometimes it's almost like gasping for breath when when you're drowning. You're like, fuck, like I need to get the fuck out of here and stuff like that. I'm not saying that that's what you went through, but sometimes you have, like sometimes you're going through that kind of like a lull, I guess, in life.
You hit
those
that-
ebbs and flows.
you hit that nail on the head, brother.
Yeah.
The trials and tribulations are always going to come.
Oh, yeah.
I think we all know that just in hindsight. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
for
Just-
sure.
Life isn't expected to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's what we make of the situations that we have in front of us and the opportunities. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And that's where we kind of we sell ourselves short a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I'm lucky to have the right people around me and the positive people around me that have influenced a lot of what we've been doing, brother. So yeah, I mean, I got a lot of thanks to a lot of people. So,
Oh, for sure. And like nothing's given to you.
no, sir.
You have
Not
to
at all.
earn that shit.
Man, I gotta wake up every single day. I either gotta prep or I'm just ready to cook and try and make somebody happy, brother. You know what I mean? That's the part of-
100%.
The part of cooking. You know what I mean? One smile makes the difference.
Oh, 100%. And the first day, and then I'm sorry, I know I'm going a little off topic, but the first day I met you, and then I met like your niece, and she was just like, "My uncle's barbecue is the best." I was like, "Well, let's do this thing. Let's try it out." But I mean, like and I got to have a little taste of when she was here,
Sir.
and that's why I was like, "Yeah, man, being able to talk to you and be able to do this is, I love to support small business, and you got some good stuff."
Thank you for having me, Mike.
Yeah.
It means a whole lot to Rose and I, dude. And trust
Yeah.
me, we're not a big operation
Yeah.
yet, but that's the end game. The
Yeah.
end game is to be able to provide this. I wouldn't say the best barbecue. I would never say that, but some pretty doggone good barbecue, brother. We do it
Oh,
right.
oh, you damn
and
right.
And that's what's good about it.
But what got you into barbecue? Like, what was the
You know what? Really, it was just trying out different meats. I was fascinated by the smoke process. I never dabbled it as a youth, just because I was cooking Mexican food and all kinds of other dishes and
Of
stuff.
course.
But there was something about smoke and just fire, not being an arsonist or anything, but
No, dude, I was an
something-
arsonist as a kid.
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
I always
but
wanted to start a bonfire. So
but something about it, dude, just really
Yeah.
fascinated me, bro. And the fact that I had a lot of good friends that would smoke like tuna and stuff when we went fishing on a 3-day trip or something.
Oh, yeah, that
and
sounds
just
good.
to preserve it and just all of that process just kind of really fascinated me, dude.
I bet.
And it just took a matter of trial and error over the years and over the time. And then learning my rub in North Carolina when I was in the service, which was gifted to me. Started off with like 27, 28 ingredients at that time, and then I progressed it to like 33, all
Okay.
fermented, dried out, and then if you come and taste Big Ricks BBQ, man, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So
love that. So where were you in like? Because I had a brother-in-law. Oh, I said I had a brother-in-law. I have a brother-in-law, but he was stationed way back when in Fayetteville.
okay,
Yeah. So like in North Carolina, and like I remember being there and trying the barbecue. I was like, holy crap.
right.
Yeah.
Really good barbecue out there, brother.
Where were
And
you
there's so
stationed
much-
out there?
I was actually in Camp Lejeune, brother.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was attached to 1-5 at the time, very quickly, and then came back to San Diego, brother. And you dabbled my feet out there. But the time I was there, I was a little homesick, and a gentleman offered me a job. Worked there once I got off at 16:30 every day, and was there for about 6 months. And then right after that, man, I left and wrote me a letter, dude, and a letter that I still have to this day, and it was the recipe to his rub, dude. And so I have all the thanks to him. And the only thing was I would never sell it, brother. So to this day, if you were lucky enough to get on my list to get some of that for Christmas, then you know you're not going to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if I can get on that Christmas list.
Yeah, of course, Mike. Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, you're going to have me on your podcast, man. I might as well get you on the Christmas list. So,
No,
but you can, just like that barbecue sauce, bro, you can put that shit on anything. So my rub is universal, dude. You can put it on anything. Your vegetables, your potatoes, your fish, your meat, your chicken, whatever you want. And then when we get done here, man, make sure you come on and get yourself a plate.
So definitely, I'm gonna get some photos and all that sort of stuff.
Most
But
certainly.
but tell us about the menu.
Dude, so our menu is pretty extensive. Our meats really consist of pork ribs, tri-tip, pork loin, beef tenderloin. We got riblets, all kinds of different flavors, and then the jalapeno Twinkies, man, that we just
There you
incorporated
go.
to our message. So, and then we have the yum sides as well. The baked mac and cheese, which is a staple. Scallop potatoes, which are fantastic. Loaded baked beans, which basically are never the same. So the beans are sweet, and then we throw in all the meats that you would think of, plus the meats that we cook for the day. So
Okay.
they're always different, man. They're never the same.
I love
Today
that.
we brought the frijoles puercos, incorporating a little bit of my Mexican heritage to it.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean those will be pretty self-explanatory once you get a taste of those. So
Oh, that's awesome. Well, so you mentioned pork tenderloin.
yes, sir.
I love pork tenderloin. Like, and I love to do like all different types of ways. Like sometimes I'll make it like Thanksgiving wise, like I'll do like thyme, rosemary, and garlic, and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
But I feel like pork tenderloin is so underrated.
Oh, absolutely is.
Like, and I don't get why. Like, I feel like sometimes people like they make like they want to do pulled pork, which don't get me wrong, I love a good pork shoulder and all
Sure.
that sort of pork butt, whatever. But sometimes you don't get like with the pork tenderloin, if you do it right, it's like, and you slice that, you let it rest for a little bit, slice that some bitch up, throw it on a Hawaiian roll or something like that.
I think people are just scared to do it, brother, because
Yeah.
it's so easy to mess up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you get that little tender piece of pork, brother.
Oh yeah.
It's just, if you smoke it, then you wrap it, and then you let all that natural au jus come out.
Oh, yeah.
There should be no reason why it comes out
My
dry.
mouth's ready to water
But there
right
are
now.
some people that it'll just come out dry for the life of them.
Yeah.
You know? I'm pretty hands-on. I'm overly excessive possessively with
Yeah.
really possessive with my meats.
I get
but-
it.
but,
you
you
want to
know,
handle your own meat. I get
Oh
it.
man, and I'll tell you, and the responsibility of being able to produce a good product is so unbelievably difficult because you got to stay consistent,
100%.
and it's got to be the same process every single time. So for me, the 4 o'clock process for my ribs, the 6 hours for the tri-tip, the 7 hours for the pork loin, but everything has the Big Ricks rub. Everything on my menu has the Big Ricks rub on it, with the exception of the sides, and then it's just all a different process.
You're
But
building that trust.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm building that trust with those customers and the people
Yeah.
whenever we serve, and
'Cause
which is
when
why
they
we get
try
out to the
it-
community. So
Yeah. When they try it, they're like, well, fuck. Like, well, now I want to know where he's going to be out next weekend and the weekend after that.
we started with like 3 followers, bro, and we've kind of blown up to like 760 at the moment. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, it's not 1 million or 1,000.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll tell you what, everyone that follows us at one point or another has come out and tried our food.
Oh, yeah.
And has recommended us to other people. So, yeah, we're just really lucky to be able to stay in the OC and travel abroad whenever it's necessary. But we are definitely a catering company first.
Yeah.
And then whenever we get a chance to come out to the community, that just kind of makes it all worth it, to be honest with you.
That's and that's, to me, that's the best though, because you hear that story of like, because what did you do before? Like, what were you like before you got into barbecue? Did you have like a full-time gig somewhere else, or?
Yeah, man, I was actually a certified colorist
Okay.
for, I don't even know if I can say, but Iron Grip Barbell Company in Anaheim.
Okay.
And I used to create all the formulas, work on a photospectrometer, color photospectrometer, and just create formulas for 24 Hour Fitness, LA Fitness, all the logos. So
Yeah.
I created all the colors that would get mixed with epoxy,
Oh, wow.
put in heaters, and then final product would be all the free weights that would go into, all these establishments, NFL, NBA, all the professional teams, college. It was just a really fun gig, and then COVID hit, and yeah, that set us back. I think it set everybody back 100 years.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to reestablish what I wanted to do in life, and lucky for us and for me and Rosa, we had a couple friends that had tried our barbecue several times and offered for us to cater their gig, and we had no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they were willing to give us an opportunity to showcase our food to all their family and friends was amazing.
Of
And
course, it's a
Lisa,
brand new
Steven,
thing.
shout out to you guys. Love you so very much. All the thanks go to you guys, man. I appreciate you. So
Yeah.
if it wasn't for you, we would have never taken this leap of faith, brother.
Yeah.
So,
But how cool is that? Like, how like sometimes it takes that little nudge to kind of like, all right, well, maybe not a nudge, but like just somebody telling you like, dude, this is fucking killer shit.
if that door isn't cracked, brother, it's hard to break that one down.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
that's
of
where
course.
people are so hesitant. And that's where I was hesitant. Not that I didn't think my food was good, just having a little experience in the culinary industry. You never know. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And you always become really critical about your own food.
Oh, of course.
And at some point, you just, when you finally do, you're walking on eggshells, bro, because you don't know if it's
Yeah.
gonna go good or if you're gonna get all these tomatoes thrown at your ass.
Oh,
But,
100%.
Luckily, at this point, man, 2.5 years later and 2.5 years into this process, no tomatoes have been thrown at us, and
That's awesome.
We're really lucky to produce a really good product. And if you guys ever get a chance to come out, all you listeners, man, you will absolutely not be disappointed one bit with anything on our menu,
Yeah.
whatsoever. So.
Sorry, there was a little bit of a delay there. But how did you start getting gigs like this, like being at breweries and stuff like that, Rick?
You know what? It actually started really by a recommendation. Colt, shout out to you, brother. Came out to, I think it was one of our fundraisers, man, and had our food and either worked or just knows the guys over at Santa Ana River Brewing Company, and just recommended. And the very next day, they actually sent me a message, and I responded, and they were willing to take a chance on us coming in and doing a pop-up for them. And yeah, Santa Ana River's basically the first opportunity that we got to be able to get out to the breweries. We have a rotation of like 7 breweries that we do at the moment.
Okay.
And we're lucky to have been invited to every one of them.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes your hard work worthwhile.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Especially when your food travels via word of mouth, because we don't advertise. We're a small operation. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you come out to the spots that we're at, that have become a staple for us, then you'll know that, Big Ricks BBQ 714 is coming. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So strap on your shoes and put that helmet on, brother, because we're ready to crack some heads, man, soon.
That's
So,
awesome. That's cool as shit, brother. I mean, and I love that because like you have that work your ass off mentality, and nowadays I feel like that's kind of been lost a little bit. And when you're willing to just go full bore and be like, yeah, let's go, and you're willing to, have your other job and then still, after you, whether you left it or not, be able to just go full bore into one thing or into another thing in a completely different direction.
yeah, it's pretty difficult.
It's
brother.
scary, brother.
It's super scary. And like I said, man, surrounding yourself with that positivity and those positive people that are constantly encouraging you. Rose she's been my backbone since we met, and my business partner, the love of my life. But more importantly, dude, just the rock. The
Yeah.
rock behind everything that we do, and the willingness to even make me feel good when my shit's not good. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And trust me, there's a lot of things that we put on the menu that we've tried, and the house is the trial and error. Everybody at the house,
Of course, yeah.
gets to enjoy my stuff or not. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
they get first dibs on everything, and if it's good, we get thumbs up across the board, and then we put it on the menu.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is so very difficult, man, and just to get up every day and to have something to look forward to, my man, is really the driving force to just trying to be successful, bro.
Oh, I bet.
And I'm not trying to reach for the stars, dude. There's no way that at this point in my life, almost hitting 50, that I would think that. But there are realistic goals along the way that we keep in perspective, and it's little by little, and hoping that we can showcase our barbecue all over Southern California, and of course, heading into LA. We've done some San Diego gigs, we've done Menifee, we've done a lot of weddings, a lot of birthday parties. So I mean, our name is out there. It's just there. You could always want more. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
But
yeah.
the work ethic has been lost quite a bit. I can't even get my own kids to want to do this, and this is something I'm hoping to leave them.
Yeah, of course.
Long after I'm gone. You know, so that's where building your brand and building your product really comes to the forefront.
Oh, of course.
And
Building that trust.
and it's
you
just
said, yeah.
like you said, yeah, absolutely, man. And just one day at a time, bro. And trust me, when you've had my food one time, or 10 times, or 100 times, you're gonna walk away saying it's just as good as it was the very first time. You know what I mean?
Love that.
And so we incorporated a lot of new stuff, or we're going to incorporate, I should say, I'm sorry, here during the summertime. Hopefully we get a lot of catering gigs. You know, it's just a busy catering time of the year for us. But man, you know, with people like yourself, man, and Noble, and everybody willing to give us the opportunity to come out, dude, then we'll absolutely come and serve their patrons whenever we can. So
Love that. I mean, and that was like, like I said, that I only had a little bit when I was, that one day, but I was like, yeah, well, I have to, I have to talk to this guy.
oh
so.
man, well, I appreciate that very much, brother. So,
No, I mean, and that's the thing, and I appreciate you saying thank you, but to me, it's like being able to talk with somebody that truly loves and cares and is, about what they're doing. Like, to me, that means more to me than anything.
Mike, I'm cooking for family, bro. I'm
Yeah.
not cooking for customers, dude.
Oh, 100%.
I don't want you to come and try my food and just, okay, all right. I want you to have my food, enjoy it, man. Close your eyes, understand and kind of live through the process, man, with all the flavors that come in. I mean, and just leave here walking outside and saying, you guys did an amazing job on that barbecue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of
That is so
course.
fulfilling for me.
Yeah.
More so than the smiles, just somebody taking the time to come and
Yeah.
appreciate what you're doing, dude. You know what I mean? And
100%.
whenever we get those, man, I mean, that just puts us on the upper echelon, bro, of happiness.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what we strive for every single time we come out.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I love to cook. I don't if people like it, great. I mean, I think most people like it when I cook, but I mean, but still, there's times when, well, maybe this wasn't my best batch of mac and cheese that I made, or maybe it wasn't the best whatever I made. But I will always make sure that everybody eats before I do, because my grandpa always taught me it's always better to have too much than not enough. Oh no, yeah, too much than not enough. I said that right. I might have had a few beers today. Sorry, guys. But
That's okay.
yeah.
It's okay. We're at a brewery.
Yeah, and and the food always tastes better
Yo,
after a
most
few beers.
certainly. My goodness.
Yeah.
Yep.
But especially barbecue, because I feel like barbecue, there's trial and error, but there's also that what I love about barbecue is just being able to sometimes, it's the trial and error, but it's the not being afraid to try something different.
People are so quick to point out the quick processes and all the new style of cooking
Yeah.
nowadays, man. And the art of slow and low
Yeah.
for a long time has just gone by the wayside.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's something that's the biggest thing for me. You know, Big
Yeah.
Ricks BBQ is a smoker, man. We're slow and low and
Damn right,
forever.
baby.
You know, our pulled pork's 24 hours, brother.
Twinkle,
It's
twinkle,
12,
baby.
12 hours in the oven, 12 hours on that smoker, kid.
Love
you
it.
know, so, I mean, it's the art of doing it and willingness to want to do it right.
Yeah, of
You know what I'm
course.
saying? Not that any other cooking methods is not right.
Yeah.
It's just not for me. And it's
Yeah.
not for what I'm trying to produce out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to bring it back to simplicity, dude. It just takes a little bit of fire and your meat, whether you catch it out in the wild
Yeah.
or you buy it
Yep.
from wherever you buy it. You know, it's just
Yeah.
a matter of what you're gonna put on it, dude. You can keep it as simple as salt and pepper, dude, or you can get as intricate as 33, 34, 35 different ingredients, bro.
Yeah.
And it's really up to your palate, to your tasting. And once you've established what you like for you, then that's where it's at, dude. You know?
And one thing I think you can almost like equate that to is like, yeah, like every like when it comes to like the like Chicano or the Latino heritage,
Sure.
it's like almost like everybody's chile is different.
Oh yeah.
Like nobody's like some is more tomato based, some is like really blended and really refined.
Oh yeah.
And that's how mine is. Like when I make my chilaquiles or something like that, everything's different. So like, but everybody has their own preference.
Yep.
But if you do it right, and everything, it doesn't matter how different you do it. If you do it right, people are going to be drawn to it, and people are going to love that. And I feel like that's what you're doing.
Oh man, well I appreciate that so very much. And,
Yeah.
man, we're gonna strive to hold that honor as long as we can do it.
Yeah.
And that means so much to us. And like I said, we're just building our product one day at a time, one plate at a time.
Yeah.
And we're just hoping to be able to meet everybody at the top, bro. You know?
Yeah. And what you said about the plate thing, like, that resonates with me because, like, it just shows how much you care.
Oh yeah, man.
It shows how much you care about the product. And one thing I always say is that, like, when it comes to, like, whether it's craft beer, whether it's barbecue, or anything you're doing that you're passionate about, if you're that passionate about it and it you know everything comes out well, people are gonna find their way to it.
No, they most certainly will.
Yeah.
And trust me, we have really good business practices, bro.
Yeah.
From just our work ethic to customer service. If you've come out and you know about me, you can come out and you'll try something, bro. I'll tell you, you want to try something, it'll make your choice easy.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to try, we have samplers out here, man.
I love it.
Come on out, do your thing. You know, we don't advertise it, but if I can see you and you're brainstorming while you're looking at my menu, then you're conflicted, and I'd like to make that choice a little easier for you.
Yeah.
You know, so whether it's
Or you can
know,
just
a
try
big
it all.
plate, or you can just get crazy and get a sampler plate. And
There you
try it
go.
all. So it's your preference, but that's what we strive for, and just building that relationship with people, dude, and hoping that they remember you tomorrow, man, will make the biggest difference in your success or your failure. And I feel so much in life that very little successes that I get, trust me, I enjoy them to the fullest, bro. And
Love that.
And I ride that ship until it sinks. So.
Dude, I appreciate you saying that because, I mean, we all go through, you know, ebbs and flows, trial and error. Well, not trial and error, but we all go through, like, lulls in our life where we're like, fuck, like, you know, shit's going bad. But you have that optimistic attitude. And not everybody has that. And it sucks that not everybody has it. But I mean, like, you know, but some people are just, you know, everybody's different. That's what makes us human, right?
It's so hard to not be happy being on this side of the grass, my man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, having older folks that are still alive by the grace of God. I mean, you got to take every day for what it is, brother.
Oh, exactly.
And, when you wake up and you put on your shoes, or me, because I don't wear pants, I put on my shorts.
There you go.
You know, every day there's going to be something positive, man.
Yeah.
And if there's a negative something in your way, then you find a way to turn that into a positive. Because there's no reason for you to look
Yeah.
back. I don't ever look back, brother.
Same.
That was the reason to many of my failures, is always looking back, dude, and wondering why.
Yeah.
I don't worry about why anymore. You know, I worry about what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
What's going to happen now.
Yeah.
What's going to happen next.
Exactly. Where can I go here to there, over there? Or you guys can't see me, but I'm pointing up in all the different directions.
And that's exactly how it is, bro. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you understand life kind of through my perspective in that sense. But if you don't look at it that way, brother, then we've already taken a few steps back. You know what I'm saying? And if I can make somebody better, whether it's one person or 10,000 people, then you know what? I think I've served my duty to the big guy upstairs, and just to be the person where I have come so far along, to be positive, that people just don't recognize this from me. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't a very nice person when I was a kid, brother. And,
It happens.
but through the grace of God and through the just learning through life, it's just made it all worthwhile, man. And here we are, dude, culminating here with you and your podcast, dude, and you know, all your listeners, man. And like I said, I'm so eternally grateful to you, man, and your efforts to do this, man. It just means a lot to us.
No, and I appreciate you saying that, but I'm grateful to you to being on. So, I did want to ask you a little bit because I wasn't sure if I know you're like we're here at Noble, a craft brewery.
Sure.
What do you have what's your kind of favorite kind of beer that you like to drink?
You know what? I'm actually a lager, dude. So
Same.
all my meats are
Say twinsies.
Yeah. All my meats, man, are marinated with Tecate beer.
Oh,
So
okay.
we got red Tecate beer. In 20 years of me barbecuing, that is the only beer that actually tenderizes the meat and just really opens those pores to get my rub deep into that meat, man.
There you go.
And so when you have my tri-tip, which is really my staple and what everybody knows me by, that natural au jus and just the tenderness that comes with that is just succulating, dude.
Love it.
And so I'd say Tecate, I'm a Tecate man. But if I get to the breweries, all breweries have their own unique style of beers and their own stuff. But I'd say lagers, dude.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big lagers and pilsners guy. And the reason why is because you can't hide behind they're the hardest beers to brew. Because you can't hide behind anything.
Yep.
But anything that Noble does, like whether it's the Icono or the Beachside Bandito or anything that stuff like that, but all the breweries, I feel like not all the breweries, I shouldn't say that, but like a lot of the breweries that I've been to.
Sure.
But if I will always ask for their pilsner or lager first, because I know if that's good, then probably everything else that they're making is really good.
That makes a whole lot of sense, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a bad beer here at Noble.
Yeah. Oh no, they're all great.
So, and a big selection, brother. So that just enhances it with some barbecue. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah, you got the best of both worlds here. So.
Beer, barbecue, and what more does a man need?
Oh man, just a good-looking girl.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, just putting
Just
that good
saying. Yeah.
beer,
Yeah.
barbecue, a good-looking girl, and
Yeah.
that good meat in your mouth.
Yeah.
Snap.
I'm with you, buddy.
Oh, but this has been so fun. And you know what's so funny? Because I always I try to plan ahead.
Sure.
And I'm we'll do 15, 20 minutes. We're at 30 minutes, and I love it. And everything that we've talked about, that was not endearing, but I mean, it's to me, being able to just hear your story and be able to hear, what you throughout your life, from what it got you to doing what you were doing before to where you are now. That was a long-winded answer. Oh, not even a long-winded answer, just a long-winded statement. But being able to hear that, that gets me there, man.
Man,
Not saying I'm half chub or anything like that. But,
Oh,
you
no,
know.
don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to inspire you that way. But if the beer is good like that, bro, hey.
Or the barbecue.
Yeah,
part.
we'll hear some of this drywall knocking.
The barbecue will get you half chub, that's for sure. I had to throw that in there at the end. I'm sorry, brother. No, but honestly, man, honestly, Rick, I really appreciate you being willing to do this, and obviously you have great food, and can't wait to have a little more of it in a little bit. But this has been super fun, and what I love, is what you said earlier about you and your family, how you and your wife, are just fully in sync and being able to do that, because I feel like when it comes to, I'm not trying to get into relationship stuff, but I mean, you don't always find someone that's willing to go that extra mile for you, and I feel like you found that. So kudos to you and your wife.
Most certainly, man. every good dude, man, there's always a better woman.
Yeah.
And only because I've seen my parents, I see her parents. The family virtue was never instilled in me, just because my parents were always working and just having to provide for the family. But
Yeah.
once I met her, man, the family core and the family value became really apparent to me, and it was something that I had been missing in my life. And
That's awesome,
the
brother.
stability that she brought forth, and the willingness, like I said, to just be, to just willing to follow my dream, you know, and make it her own, has put us where we are today, man. And like I said, the honor's all mine to be on your podcast, man. And yeah, we're just gonna continue barbecue, man. You know, so.
You got to fire up that grill, baby.
Oh, you know, and on that note, you know, let's go have a beer.
And on that note, twinkle, twinkle, baby. Thanks again, Rick. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Rick, follow it's at Big Ricks BBQ on
At
Instagram.
Big Ricks BBQ 714 on Instagram. We do have a Facebook that's exactly the same. Once this gentleman tags me, I'll put my logo up, and you'll know where to find me.
Damn
so
right.
come and catch me. Get
Let's
ready
go.
for the summertime, folks, for all your barbecue needs.
Damn right. Let's do it. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, I love being able to do this for you guys every week. Keep on keeping on. And damn it, I think I used that. I was going to use if you don't make it, it's your own damn vault quote. But, you know, either way. We'll end it with a twinkle, twinkle, baby. Hey, what did he say? Damn it. He's a stop hating, start participating. And then I think Vince Vaughn calls him a star. I don't know. Either way. All right. Thanks, guys. Cheers to 1 year.